at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Rufino's on Holland Road, Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments. From Rufino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, Charles Hannegriff along with Jimmy Ott. Richard Dixon has the week off for the off week, so, man, we went to the bullpen. We came with the closer, man. We came with the ace out of the bullpen, straight out of New Orleans. We got Holomeo, man. Good to see you.
I'm happy to be here. I love this show.
I'm telling you, I missed your last appearance. I was on vacation, so it's good to have you here, man. And right off an NFC South ridiculous game last night. I don't know. The Falcons must have been to church. They must have been somewhere where they got a four-leaf clover, horseshoe, something. I don't know. But that's the luckiest 3-2 team I've seen since the Vikings 2 years ago won every game by one score. You talk about – I felt like the Saints gave away a game to this group last week. And then to have Tampa, a fumble and a holding penalty caused them to not be able to put that game away last night. Que sera. I didn't think the better team won, but the Falcons have done this 3 times in 5 weeks now. So what do I know? You got to deal with the Saints fans every week. So what did you think of the game?
I mean, I agree with you. It does feel like God is rewarding the Falcons. Like, you know,
the God's team?
Yeah, it just seems like he's favoring them. Because you look at how the Saints been finishing games, the last 2 games, doesn't seem like God's favoring the Saints.
Wait a minute. So you go to the West Bank by the Siesta Motel this week for your RB&R review, and it clouds your rationale. I mean, what happened?
There's a lot of churches on the West Bank. They just closed down. Not even God can make it out there. It's crazy.
Times are tough.
Yeah.
Siesta Motel is still going, huh?
That's your spot. I know that.
No. But it's right by my old school.
Yeah, it's right by a school. I've never seen it. Only on the West Bank will you see a Siesta Motel and a pawn shop right next to a school. You know, it's just like
a parochial school, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Brothers of the Salesian Order. Yes,
all that.
You know, skip out day. Let's hit the Siesta Motel.
On a pawn shop.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, but the thing with the Falcons is, all right, are they any good? Or, okay, they got through this tough stretch where Cousins was having to learn his surroundings and get used to his new supporting cast. And now, because he looked way better last night than he had looked in the first 4 games. And, I mean, so did you keep this team that was supposed to be, they were the favorite coming in. Did they escape? You know, when they should have been 1-4 or 0-5, did they escape? Now they're 3-2, and they're going to be better moving forward.
This is the offense that they've been waiting for, okay? They finally threw the ball up Kyle Pitts. Drake London looked like a number 1 receiver for one of the few times since he's been there. Robinson didn't have a huge game, but he's still a really good player, and that's the Cousins that they paid $180 million for. But they didn't look like that offense against the Saints. They didn't look like that offense against the Eagles.
Did nothing against the Saints.
So this was against what I thought was a fairly good Tampa defense. So this is the offense that they've been waiting for. This is what they invested all that draft capital and all that free agent dollars to get. And it still took them a fumble and a holding penalty to get home last night.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Tampa Bay's going up and down the field. Well, then he won first down. They go backwards. And so, I mean, with all that being said, they're still lucky to win at home.
Yeah, even with the offense they won.
One of them penalties could have been offsetted too, because there was 2 penalties when they just called it on Tampa. There was another. It could have been offsetted, and they just missed it.
The holding penalty at the end.
Yeah. So, but my biggest takeaway is both quarterbacks look confident. Both offenses look, you know, for the most part in rhythm. And when I watched the Saints, you saw 2 games where they looked like confident, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But the other 2 games, And that, to me, is the experience that we keep seeing with this, with Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. You're going to see some good things, and the next thing you know, they look a little different,
Well, when they lost McCoy, that was huge. And, I mean, it's been out. Now, he looked fine against Atlanta. I thought he played fine. Didn't get it up. But your favorite thing, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, look good, just lost, huh?
Well, yeah. And my thing is, all these teams are dealing with injuries. I know it's easy to.
Okay, but Cousins looked great last night, right?
Yes.
Okay, we going to kill him if Tampa Bay gets one first down and they lose?
No, he would have still played.
Still
went
off
offense that they wanted. If they have to play offense that good to win, you can't count on that every week. But they've gotten away with a couple of subpar offensive performances. Like I said, you remember the Vikings 2 years ago? They won 11 games by one score, 8 points or less, and they got to the playoffs and they got smoked by
the Giants.
Not a good Giants team, but they got smoked. That's what Atlanta looks like so far to me. A team certainly got some talent there, but has gotten fortunate.
It's a long way to 11.
No, just through 5 games. That's what they remind me of.
I mean, early December they're going to get down 34-0 and come back.
I was just thinking of that game. You remember
Vikings
that?
Colts?
Yeah,
Saturday game.
that was a crazy game.
First day of the bowl season when they do that triple header. It was that was a game where the Bills and Dolphins played later that night, and it was. I was talking to my buddy. We were in Natchez at the time, Coach. I said, I got the Vikings. I'm like, man, I got the loser here, and it's about 20-0. I said, Coach, and he had the Colts. I said, you're not allowed to cheer for your team anymore.
Yeah.
And then they started coming back. He said, can I cheer now?
Yeah. Are we ripping on them just because it's fun to rip on the Falcons? They could have beaten the Chiefs, too.
Yeah.
It's not like they got run out of the building that night. They could be 4-1.
Yeah, they got robbed against the Chiefs. But, had they scored, do you think Mahomes is going to come down and get a score?
That's what I'm saying.
Probably.
You
Sure,
know what I mean?
sure.
I mean, so it's – but they were in that game. There's no doubt. That was a 50-50 game. I think it's fair to say. What Chiefs game hasn't been a 50-50 game? And that's been their thing. It's an ugly 4-0, but they're 4-0.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it's a tough beat. But what is my saying? There's never been a tough beat you couldn't have hedged out of. Damn it, I was going to hit that son of a gun in the middle if they kick the field goal and the Falcons come down and score. But, man, the as soon as the toss, man, what defense in the NFL isn't gassed in the overtime period? Right. I mean, it went right through them like they weren't even there. I mean, did you ever think they were going to get a stop?
Yeah.
I was hoping they would let them score a touchdown, but
no, they have to now. I get it
on the first, yeah, and he ran away from the secondary.
After
he put the Jets on as soon as he got there. But man, we've seen 5 games for these two teams and 4 games for the Saints. How much difference is there between the 3 teams?
None.
I got to be honest.
Don't let him answer for you.
Yeah, I got to be honest. And I hate to say this, but both of them teams it's simple put, both of them teams look better than the Saints.
Really?
And here's the thing. People want to say, what the Saints. No.
You are impressionable. Your callers are taking a toll on you.
We're going to sit here and say, the Saints got the better defense. Absolutely. No doubt about it. But if you can have a consistent offense that can show me that they can score the ball, here we are again in the red zone not getting points. This is the same thing that we dealt with last year. This is like the story of Derek Carr's career, too. Like, the red zone, he's just not good in it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, if I curse at you like Dwayne from Araby, I mean, I'm going to make an impression on you, too?
Huh?
I mean, come on.
I'm just telling you what my eyes saw.
Should we not have beaten the Falcons?
We should have, but we didn't. You see what I'm saying? How do you not let a team score on offense and you didn't do enough?
You don't think the Saints
You're going to tell me it's because of injuries.
So you saw these 2 games. You don't think the Saints defense looked better against Tampa Bay matchup? Hey, the Falcons laid out the blueprint. We ain't fooling with that Vita Vea in the middle. We're going to throw it 55 times or whatever it is. So keep that in mind how teams may attack. Your boy, who you've been on for a while, Baker Mayfield's never looked better. And we haven't mentioned him at all. He was. If they won, we'd be talking about how good was that third goal throw?
Dude, I'm telling you, man. He's just
Shepard.
Yeah, to start, and that's what I'm saying. They have weapons. Like, nobody really even heard of Sterling Shepard.
We got weapons.
Okay, start naming them.
Shaheed and Olave.
And that's it. What if one's got to take a breather? That's all we have. That's it. You named all three of them.
That's three pretty good ones.
No, they are. But I'm just saying, like, you got to account for. Look at Olave. Hey, my groin hurts or my hamstring. Shaheed, he's gonna. I'm just telling you based off of history, 2 ain't enough. You got to have another one. You got to have that Sterling Shepard, who I hadn't seen all year. I don't remember.
Oh, so you want Devontae Adams? Huh?
No. I
Huh.
really don't because of the money. I just thought that we'd be using some of these other guys a little more. I understand the offense, Kubiak.
So, Charlie, answer your own question.
I'm concerned that the Saints are a mile wide and an inch deep. If everybody's
What the hell
there,
does that mean?
It means that if everybody's there and everybody's healthy,
Yes.
they're
Yes.
right there.
Mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah.
I'm going to use
You
that
think
one.
similar to me?
Use that one.
Yeah, mile wide, inch deep.
Tell it from Dwayne from Arabic.
Kamara's got broken ribs. Taysom Hill's got a body injury. They were without Demario Davis. And with all of that, even with those problems on the offensive line and the interior, they still rush the ball. Or they still gained 365 yards against the same Falcons team 4 days ago and had almost twice as many first downs. But if anything goes wrong, anything at all, your fault, my fault, nobody's fault, then it throws a monkey wrench in their whole deal. And expecting a team to stay 100% healthy or 90% healthy is just not realistic. So, for instance, Kamara played with broken ribs last week. Kendre Miller made it to practice. Miracle of miracles this week. Okay, can he play next
Supposedly
week? Next Monday? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the interior offensive line look like? How do you replace Taysom Hill? It's wonderful to have that guy to be able to do all these different things with him. But if he goes out, you don't have another one of him. It takes 3 guys to replace him. I'm not for the Devontae Adams signing either, but the Saints wide receivers fall off the cliff after the first 2.
That's it, yeah.
So that's my concern. And the tight end room has been underutilized, I think, a little bit. So, yeah, if everything's perfect, like we saw the first 2 weeks, the Saints are right in there. But, man, if anything's off, that's kind of my read on them through 4 games.
And I agree because what's up with Bub Means? Try to use him. What's up with A.T. Perry? Why do we stash these guys like old trading cards and we don't even, look at them? You know what I'm saying?
He's not because you don't trust him. He's not dependable.
Then get him off the team.
Well, then okay.
You see what I'm saying? They should have never brought him on.
Yeah, he's on the team because they don't have anybody better. They sure aren't using him. They sure aren't. They go in a lot of two. Do the Saints lead the league in 2 receiver sets?
Oh, no doubt. That's a Kubiak thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a Kubiak thing. You go back to.
Well, has he not been good?
I'm with it. I'm just saying, if anything happens, then what?
Well, no, you knew you were thin. We've been in salary cap jail for how long now? You want to bring Devontae Adams and drive that stake a little deeper?
I definitely don't.
That would undo all of the progress you made this past summer with getting your cap right. A.T. Perry, the scouting report on him on draft day was spot on. This guy is a rangy, fast, looks the part.
You think he's that fast?
Fast enough to play receiver at an effective level, but the knock on him was he dropped, I want to say, 12 balls his last year at Wake Forest, and that's
He's not dependable.
That's exactly what you're seeing here. It's like he can run, he's big,
He's not super fast. Though.
No,
by NFL
well
receivers, he's long is the main thing.
He could be a very good possession.
You think of that
receiver.
You think of that guy with that size, and he could fly. He would be at Wake Forest.
No, I'm not saying he's a burner, but he runs well enough, and he just drops too many balls. And I hadn't seen enough of Means to be able to know. They were real high on Tipton at the beginning of camp.
He gets a little play.
And he's starting to work himself in. He missed, a month?
Where do you sit for the games?
So
You
for the whole Drew Brees era,
because you try and portray this image like you're a terrorist guy.
Well, hold on. That's how you started.
Grassroots terrorist guy. You're sitting in the club section. Eating caviar, I saw you picture with the bubbly.
Okay, if you come from the terrace, you don't want to stay in there your whole life. Like if you get the opportunity.
True. You don't want to be a worm. You want to be a grasshopper at some point.
Yeah, I was in the terrace. I'm gonna tell you all the games I was in the terrace for you, in a legendary games. Hakeem drops the ball. I was in the terrace with my dad.
Yes.
Kyle Turley throws the helmet. I was in the terrace with my dad. So I was in it. Look, Billy Joe Towle.
Your dad or the guy with the wig?
Damn, you made me think for a second. I was like, man, is there another one? But that's where I was in the terrace. Then I went into the 50-yard line in the club seats, and I was there for a while. COVID hit, those tickets went away because those were my grandpa's tickets, and now I'm just I kind of wait on a word. Somebody on Twitter hits me up, and they'll just give me what I'll just go wherever.
Really?
Yeah. No,
So
I'm
you,
serious.
you go with some random,
I've went by myself. I've went with people from Twitter. I've went.
Give me your best random, like who was a really good experience and what was a really not so good experience.
As far as going to the games?
Yeah, with these these blind dates to the games. Yeah.
Okay, well, even back before I was doing Hold the Mayo in 2018, I bought one ticket to go to the no call game. And it was $650. I'll never forget it. One ticket.
To the Nola no call.
To the Nola.
Man, that was
you didn't know that before you went. But, so I went there. I was sitting by myself. Everybody was nice. Everything was cool until that point. And I just remember, everybody just stopped talking to everybody.
Oh, it was Stop the Needle on the record. Yeah. We had the private room at Superior Grill, and I had my son DJing. We hit the chopper. Charlie was chopper styling around with a margarita in his hands. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, I mean.
It just went from everybody was so friendly to, man, nobody was talking to each other. And I just, as the kicker lined up to kick the field goal, I think it was Zerlin.
Zerline.
Yeah, the guy that kicked it sideways for the Jets on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. And I just remember starting to make my walk because I knew that dude wasn't missing that kick.
Yeah, he had already made one before. So we're here at Ruffino's, and this is a sort of, I guess, a tradition that we have.
Yeah.
So we have
lamp on.
Yeah, no problem.
The reading of the
specials.
specials.
It's dim lighting over here. It's it's part of the atmosphere over here at Ruffino's. But in addition to our Friday lunch menu and our weekend dinner menu, we have off-the-menu specials, chef-inspired off-the-menu specials. And here is our Epicurean first ballot Hall of Famer, Devin Snow Like Joe. John like snow.
Right off the back, y'all gotta check out these kofta kebabs. This is pork and ground beef skewers, marinated artichoke with this is piccolo pepper. That's tough. Piccolo pepper coulis. We also got the Crouch strudel egg rolls. These aren't normal egg rolls, guys. These are German. Ground beef, bacon, sauerkraut, caraway seed, and creamy beer mustard imported from
Germany.
Berlin.
Yeah.
Berlin. We got beautiful entrees. We got the red grouper. If you just want to put some fish in your system, pan-seared red grouper with shrimp etouffee, the jasmine rice, which, guys, nobody eats regular rice no more. Everybody's on the jasmine rice.
Is that right?
That's what I've been seeing. Just tons of jasmine rice going away. We got New Orleans ribeye, which is a 16-ounce ribeye. New Orleans-style barbecue shrimp with mashed potatoes with a wine pairing.
What kind of wine they suggest with it?
We got the Frank family, and we got a Cabernet
Sauvignon.
Excuse me?
Just say cab.
We got a cab.
It's like an Uber.
We also got on dessert, we got a pumpkin brulee. That's a chai latte whipped cream.
In the spirit of, the fall.
Yeah, the season.
Everything's pumpkin, huh? Pumpkin lattes to pumpkin creme brulees.
Michael Myers would eat this for dessert. Candied pumpkin seeds served in a miniature pumpkin, which, it's another thing that's in, guys. Everything's mini now, And we also got some beverage features, the truffle Negroni. That's some truffle-infused gin with Carpano. This is tough, man. Carpano Antica Vermouth. Let's just end there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's good.
Y'all get the point. Some fancy stuff going on over here.
The food's good.
The food's
good. Lock of the week.
Yeah.
Lock of the week Friday, presented by Tex Morris and Edward Jones Investments.
Live from Ruffino's, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Restaurant opens up at 11 o'clock. Come on out and see us for lunch. Things that you can pronounce, things that you can't pronounce. It's okay.
Yeah.
Come on out. Mayo's with us. Richard Dixon.
Chef
with
Patrick's
the week
doing
off.
a great job.
Boy, he's done some really
unique
things.
Yeah.
We knew it from the Eat the Competition dinner that he was coming with some,
yes,
some unique
very
stuff.
good. Yeah, because we've seen those in the past, and and man, he's really on top of it. Comes out every now and then. We'll ask exactly how you want this or whatever. But he is. If you haven't been to Ruffino's, like the last 3 or 4 months, man, you come check it out. And so these are all chef-inspired specials this weekend. So it's really good. So Mayo is is complaining about he's got ailments. He's hitting the elderly age of 32. So, I mean, so you have a herniated disc in your back.
In my neck. It'd be better if it was in my back. It's in my neck. Was this more sport, diagnosed? I mean, what is this now? Huh? No, I went to the doctor, Ashna.
Uh-huh.
And they diagnosed it, and they told me I should get surgery. And
Oh,
I was
really?
Like, yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm 32, dude. I ain't letting nobody cut open my
race
neck.
dirt bikes when you're younger? Do a lot of just water skiing and fall down? I mean, what part did you abuse your body?
Dude, it just goes back. Every time I think about it, I think about my grandma telling me when I was playing Yahtzee, and you see how I'm sitting right now. I'd be sitting like this playing Yahtzee with my grandma, and she'd always tell me, Devin, if you don't sit straight, you're going to pay for it.
Well,
she'd always say that.
But Yahtzee and then Yahtzee in the parish are two different things.
Let me tell you something about Yahtzee, bro.
Dude, serious?
They want to strangle you, huh? You try and cheat or try to get that extra dice, huh?
We're not talking about Yahtzee enough these days. That's where you become a competitor playing Yahtzee. You know what I'm saying? You had to write your score on the paper tab, and that teaches you things, man. I don't know what it teaches you, but it taught me something.
So, but no Jazzland, no roller coasters that get abused, no Wild Mouse or Zephyr at Pontchartrain Beach.
Now, I was a Jazzland season pass holder.
Oh, you were?
Oh, yeah. Before Katrina? Yeah, that's when you used to go in there, they take your picture.
So, but you've had to talk to some older New Orleanians and talk about this Pontchartrain Beach was a bit of a caca show. I mean,
anybody I've ever met that's been in Lake Pontchartrain.
No, but with Pontchartrain Beach, the amusement park.
Yeah.
Okay.
That too. We'll get to that, but I'm just saying anybody I've ever met that's actually swam in Lake Pontchartrain, different breed of human. They not the normal human.
Well, they didn't clean it out for it until the people in Bucktown used to ride around with bumper stickers, "Save our lake."
Yeah. Well,
people were. They were jumping in there, swimming around like it was,
Somebody told me one, I'll never forget it. He goes, "You ain't really became a man until you dipped your stuff in Lake Pontchartrain." I said, "Well, I ain't a man now, brother." I said, "I'm a little boy." Because I ain't ever dipped my package in Lake Pontchartrain.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, well, he told me that. And he was confident when he said it,
So would you? But the
amusement park.
You ever see pictures? I mean, they've been like the droves of people, man, just throwing down at the beach, jumping in that nasty water, huh?
Didn't Elvis perform there one time?
I don't know.
I'm serious. Pretty sure Elvis performed there. I mean, it's one of them things. I was born in '92, and I hate the fact that I wasn't alive for the whole Pontchartrain Beach. You could just tell that y'all were excited about that.
and then you missed the World's Fair. Did you hear anything about that?
No.
1984, complete flop. This is when, just a complete bust. But it did renovate the warehouse district. That was a rough area.
Okay.
Yeah, fiber mill house before.
Wait, what did they call it again?
It happens yearly. It's called the World's Fair around the world, and it was in New Orleans.
All right.
When New Orleans was full of crime, got bad press, and nobody came.
Right.
So it's a locals deal.
Yeah, no, it's still that way. Nothing's changed.
Oh, man.
Nothing's changed.
So how about where'd you go this week? What's the name of that place?
Oh, Jesus. Man, my memory, man.
It was just this week.
I know,
I mean, come on.
I know, man.
Lady was excited to see you.
Yeah, I know. It was a little spot, too. It looked like my uncle's house. It was Acacias. Sometimes you got to give me a few seconds. No, it was called Acacias, and this was a lady that, she was a catering all over the, West Bank before she opened up this place. She was doing pop-ups before pop-ups,
They cater on the West Bank?
Cater on the West Bank. Can you imagine?
No, everybody cooks themselves.
Can you imagine going to cater for a West Bank baby shower?
Yes, there's been plenty. The EJ had his... EJ's mom had her baby shower on the West Bank. Absolutely.
Yeah, I bet it was eventful. I know it can't be like a normal one.
No, it was fine. It was fine. It was fine.
Everybody's pulling up in four-wheelers.
No, dude. Tell me about your four-wheeler experience.
I was on the West Bank. This is probably 10 years ago. And this is when I knew that the West Bank was just different. You're not going to see the same things that you see. I saw a lady. She was pregnant. She had her kids with her, and she was coming from Winn-Dixie, and she was on a four-wheeler. The groceries are in the back of the four-wheeler.
Pregnant with the kids on a four-wheeler
And I'm
making groceries.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, you got to get what you got to get, I guess. That's the West Bank. Whenever people ask me what it's like,
So what about this dude that got on a tractor and just hopped on the West Bank
That's also-
Expressway?
It's also the West Bank. West Bank's so different because, you'll see farmers, but then, you see some guy wearing an Affliction shirt. There's just so many different. I always say West Bank's like the Aeropostale of, Louisiana. It's just on its own page, and I've seen so much out there. It's crazy. Like I said, church can't even make it out there.
Come on, man. Huh?
I'm telling you.
They got Catholic churches everywhere, on every corner.
Yeah.
On every corner.
They just closed down.
Yes, indeed. Charlie, who we got?
We're brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and Heating. They're in New Orleans, okay, right now. South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating company. Service today, every day. That's their slogan, so you don't have to go to sleep hot. Over the years, Total Maintenance has expanded their program, so you got a full staff in both Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daykin, and Ream AC units. Generac and Cummins generators for all your electrical and plumbing needs. In Baton Rouge, it's 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day. Total Maintenance. Log of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Restaurant will open here in about 25 minutes here at Rufino's. Richard Dixon with the week off, and Holomeo with us here. So who you like tomorrow, man? Who you got a game you like tomorrow?
I haven't really looked at the whole slate. I'd love to go through it.
I'll tell you what, there it is.
I'd love to go through
right
it.
There in front of you.
I got some teams on my no bet list 2024.
Who's on your no bet list? This is a good list.
Wait. How do you become on your no bet list? You have a bad beat or something?
Yeah, bad effort.
Okay.
Gave up a game. Really went out their way to not cover a spread. Or give up a game. That's how you end up on. Like tonight, I think Jacksonville State's playing. They on my no bet list. They've been on it since week one. Just got slowed.
They're playing. Kennesaw State.
Yeah, I know. They favored by 17.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not betting on them. I'm not doing it. I'm not betting on that team again. Michigan State. They on my no bet list.
They're not good,
dude.
They are not good.
What do you expect, man? When did Jonathan Smith get the job? Huh, Charlie?
I know.
I mean, they're not better than what they thought they were.
I do like Syracuse to cover.
Okay, so UNLV, we were on UNLV last week. We thought they'd play with a lot of emotion. This is a big ask for them to turn around and, on a semi-short week, even though they're at home. And Syracuse showed me, showed me something, early in the season. We like McCord, the
I like
quarterback.
Kyle McCord.
He had a rough game against Stanford, but we like him. I can back the Qs tonight a little bit.
What's the line?
Vegas is a 6-point favorite because they're undefeated. But I like Syracuse in that game. Who else is on your no bet? Who in the Southeastern Conference is on your no bet list?
Vanderbilt for sure. Which I gave them a chance after they looked good.
Vandy's at they got a rough deal this week. They got Alabama, so they're at home. They're a 22.5-point underdog.
Some of these teams put on there.
You don't think that little light in the tank after that emotional win last week?
I love BYU, by the way.
Huh? I do.
I mean, but they're still too good to just overpower Vandy.
It's one of those. I'm not going to play the game. The game could end up 41-17 or 41-21, and you're kind of getting around the number. I expect Alabama to pull away in the second half.
A team I've been riding a lot. I've been riding BYU a lot. They've been covering.
5-0.
5-0 against the spread, yeah.
And they've done and 3 of those games on the road. Is that
at SMU?
Who's on my no bet list? SMU.
SMU is on you, but they changed quarterbacks. Did they get off the no bet list when they changed quarterbacks?
No, they can't cover.
They have since they changed quarterbacks.
Yeah, they changed quarterbacks. They're big deal. They wanted Baylor last week. They wanted SMU.
Baylor.
I think they won another road game in there somewhere. Now they beat Kansas State at home.
Kansas State was
that
home.
That was a home game. I think they got one more road win. But,
Jeff, did you have anybody in a Colorado Baylor game? with the Hail Mary.
I had Baylor.
Oh gosh.
welcome to the club. We're having jackets made.
But it was such a miraculous ending that it's just one of them rare times where you feel, even though you lost money, you're like, wow, that was an incredible game. It's how I had to feel about it.
And even after
Did you
all of
see
that,
the
it looked
field
like
rush after?
Oh, yeah.
How were they going? If they overturned that fumble, how were they going to get all those people off the
Yeah.
field?
it's going to take half an hour.
And then the game.
What was the gummy intake at that place at that night?
Oh,
huh?
man, all them dudes, man. All them dudes are when they say that it's elevated out there, that's what they mean. They're not talking about the altitude.
Well put. well put. What about Tennessee?
Love Tennessee.
Tennessee going to Arkansas this week. Maybe a tricky spot.
I have picked Arkansas a couple times this year, but it does feel like they coming back to reality. So, I mean, if I'm looking at this right now, what's the spread?
13.5.
Yeah, I love Tennessee.
I don't know what Taylor Green is to me the
And
most
Arkansas.
exciting quarterback to watch, regardless of which team you got, because there could be a big play or a bad play at any time.
Yeah.
He's
he's
a lot
got
like Sellers in South Carolina. Kind of hit or miss. Sellers is not consistent.
He's
But
not
he
as
is
thick.
capable of.
He's not as thick as Sellers, but yeah, he's got a lot of that.
Sellers
to
is a
him.
big old dude.
Dude, if he
Sellers
went
is
out-
probably 20
Yeah,
pounds
he is
heavier than
big.
him. He ended up questionable on their list for tomorrow. I don't know if you saw that.
I heard it was probable.
he-
I mean, what are we getting here? We
No,
got two different injury
Well,
reports.
it's official now. They got to do that stuff with the conference now. Him and
They said he was probable on the official thing yesterday.
Okay, I saw questionable.
Sure, good.
Max Checkers,
is busy.
I
He's
thought
working
him
his
and
second job.
him and Rocket Sanders were both supposed to be questionable for tomorrow's game against.
I
Ole
heard they
Miss.
were both probable.
Okay, well, let's check that. Let's put research on that.
Yeah, he was giving LSU pride when he went out. That was significant.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
come on, man, that dude was going off, low key. So,
You know who you're warming the chair up for next week, huh?
who's that?
You know who's coming into town. Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Well, who
Was that game
who's
last year?
who's the our famous misfit hot
Mintz.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
You
with
know
him.
he's gonna come in here. Last time he's here, Ruffin, God bless his soul. He said, tell Mintz he get whatever he wants.
Oh yeah. I love
Well,
this
he
story.
ordered the whole left side of the menu,
Yeah.
and I said, Mincy, you're going to New York, not the chair.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it was like it was his last meal.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was with him last year. I drove the.
he had steaks with crab meat, imperial sauce, barbecued shrimp. I mean, skewers. I mean, lamb kebabs. I mean, gumbo.
Jesus.
I mean, this guy. I'm like, dude,
That's that Mincy no carb diet.
but he didn't list that on his workout videos. You know how he likes to
yeah.
post these self workout videos.
My favorite picture of Mintz is when he's at Blue Oak Barbecue.
Uh-huh.
And and the caption says no sugar diet or something like that. It's just all barbecue sauce all over the.
There's no sugar in that.
I'm like, damn, I don't see sugar in sight.
No sugar in
The
barbecue.
pictures, you got to see the picture. It's like,
I mean, come on, Mincy. Don't show me the damn treadmill from the guy next to you,
Yeah.
the meter and this and that. I mean, the waistline don't lie, brother. I
top
mean, it's all right.
top 5 most unintentionally funny dudes on the planet.
yes, that's
Straight
that's
up.
right. As soon as he tries, wait, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
All
I
right, so
mean,
here's what it is real quick with South Carolina. They were questionable on the Wednesday, upgraded to probable yesterday.
here we go.
So you're good. Sanders and Sellers, both of them.
Another Tulane. They've been covering.
Tulane's good, bro.
Dude,
I like the quarterback.
he is
Tulane.
good.
Mensa, I
Yeah.
like him.
Tulane is
And the running
well.
back.
The coach is
And
good. The
receiver.
deep they got a team. This
Dude.
is I think in his Willie Fritz and even that Cotton Bowl team with is it Spears,
Spears, yeah.
Tajay
Yeah.
Spears.
Yeah.
But this team's better.
It does
This
feel
team
that
is
way.
better. This team is better. That USC team was a joke trying to tackle people. I mean, that was a joke. And things kind of fell their way. They got they kicked it
The
down to the
safety.
half-yard line, got the
Yeah.
safety, got the ball. It was an exciting day. I mean, LSU was like a pinball machine against Purdue. Drew Brees is trying to coach. Okay, Drew, can you play? I mean, or are you coaching? I mean,
Yeah, dude.
how bad was that Purdue team they put out there that day?
Dude. I don't know why they bring Drew Brees. I love Drew Brees to death. I don't really want to see him in the Superdome no more, or because every time he comes, the Saints get throttled.
So Tulane's history, the one time they did, Tommy Bowden goes undefeated.
Sean King.
Okay, they go undefeated. and Clemson comes with the offer. They match the offer. The one time they matched it, but Bobby Bowden told Tommy, says, you're 12-0 and you're in the Liberty Bowl. Get out.
Right.
Got to go.
Yeah.
So he takes the Clemson job. That's before they got, their hand-picked, Dabo had his hand-picked compliance, lady, and they kind of, they quit just taking the money as in an account, but started borrowing money. So they got it going. That's why they were so reluctant. That's why he's so anti this new set of rules in college football where everything's above the table. But, I mean, that was the one time. And then they get butthurt because Bowden, so they didn't want Bowden's assistant. They brought in, who did they bring in at the time? Was it a guy from Stanford or something?
Oh, gosh.
Was it Selfo, huh?
Chris Selfo, I'm trying to
remember. But I mean, so they let Rodriguez walk.
Yeah.
All right? And so, but this time they gave this guy money. With Fritz's success, Summerall says, look, y'all fine, but I need some NIL budget. They gave him some. They finally got offered some of their money, and I think this is not as good as that. That's hard to say, Charlie. That undefeated team, that schedule was so weak. It was so weak.
It was Selfo that came in for him, and then the UCLA guy I was thinking of, Bob Toledo, came in after Selfo.
But they're way better on defense than an undefeated team is. They're not as good offensively, okay? I mean, Sean King he set records, man, and what Rodriguez was doing was innovative at that time. I mean, everybody was – nobody was used to spreading everybody out, and what it did was it made it easier, Sean, for an easy read, how many players in the box, and you check down to a run to Tony Converse, or you throw the ball around. But this team is, like, physically – they went should have beat Kansas State. Kansas State's good.
Bad call.
Kansas State is good. Yeah. Oh, you thought it was a bad call?
I mean, as it kind of sank in, I was starting to see why people would say, hey, wasn't a bad call. But still, in real time, it shouldn't have happened.
They still gave it away.
Mensa made one really bad play where he went backwards on the sack, and he didn't hold the ball, and they got the scoop and score, and that ended up being a difference in the game.
Oklahoma was his first road start. Actually, your boy that got benched had a good game, especially with his legs.
Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold. But, Tulane's got the ball down 5 at midfield in the fourth quarter. He got away from him at the end. Yeah. But, man, that UAB, how is UAB going to stay with Tulane?
No.
I mean, how are they going to – that team is good, man. And this is the thing about what I handicap. Well, they have such a poor branding or reputation, and they're so much better than what they usually are. So the odds makers are slow to move those lines up. And when they lost to Kansas State, even though they were supposed to beat them, that kept the point spreads down a little bit.
It did.
So I've been on them, man. I've been riding them a lot.
Dude, I was riding them the last 2 years, to be honest with you. They cover. Tulane covers.
Yeah, we've been fans so far, and the Angry Wave helmets.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of that too.
Yeah, me too.
You know that hullabaloo cheer?
Do what?
Hullabaloo, graza, two-ray, T-ray, some crap like that.
Where they do that at?
Oh, in the stands after.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I ain't never said that. No. I think they're a great cover. And look, I love Tulane, but for people to think that's going to –
It's not really New Orleans school.
Yeah, and also for people to think that, like, everybody's going to shift to two – or, it's always going to be, hey –
Know your place.
It's always going to be you live in Louisiana, LSU is your favorite college team. You love – you root for Tulane. I don't want to say UL. What do they call them now?
That's Charlie's area.
It depends on where if you're in Lafayette, you call them UL. If you're in Baton Rouge, you call them ULL.
What if you're in St. Bernard Parish?
USL.
Call them whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Lafayette.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah. So, I root for all these teams, but let's just be honest, But I agree, man. Tulane is like night and day better than. I mean, dude, think about all them years. They were so unwatchable.
You dip in your junk into Pontchartrain Beach. That era had way more Tulane fans than they do now.
I bet.
We're brought to you by Home Bank, Louisiana-based since 1908. Check out some great CD rates right now, both the short-term and the long-term. Low minimum balances available, so that this is available to just about anybody. Stack up some returns on your money with a local banker, whether it's fits your financial goals individually or for your business. Here in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard, Sherwood Forest, Longform Village, and Bluebonnet. Also, home bank locations in Acadiana, New Orleans, and North Shore, Natchez, and Houston. Visit home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC. Live at lunch from Rufino's, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So Charlie Humans took too much NyQuil yesterday. He slept through his segment, so he's back today at 11.
Cool, he had a good week last week.
Yeah, 4-1 with a horrible loss at Wisconsin, plus 14.5, 15. Chris Macero, live from San Diego. Man, he said the city is popping for the Padres right now. The Dodgers, Padres, NLDS going on. He'll have his 5-pack as well. So we got a lot of Troy Macker unable to be with us. So open seg there at 11:30. We'll have our 5-packs as well. The majority of us did very well again. So a lot of winners. I think 7 of the 9 had winning weeks after the previous week of 8 out of 9. But so before we get into a lot of these picks and blowing it go down, the post game.
Yeah.
How do people find your post game? You always move this damn thing,
I don't
man.
know.
I mean, what
don't
are
know.
you doing playing with that thing, huh?
Yeah, it's.
Come on, Willie Fritz.
I'm on YouTube. You can search me up, Hold the Mayo. It's the easiest way I can explain how to find me on any platform.
Okay, so we can get that. We can access it on just YouTube, Hold the Mayo.
Yeah.
You come on right at the game, 20 minutes, 30 minutes after?
If it's a home game and if I'm there, sometimes it takes a little time, but I always schedule it. That's the main thing. So you always see a time where it's scheduled.
Okay.
To where what time I'm gonna be live, and it's always within.
So new game, you start at 3:34.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like last week, I think it started at around 3:30.
I like this. Got around.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, because the problem with like doing a set time and set schedule. It just never works out, because stuff happens, whether if I'm at the game, traffic,
Hard, but a hard policy, 7-second delay for any vulgarity, obviously, huh?
Yes. Look, YouTube, Hold the Mayo, it's usually within an hour. And look, it's just like the old times when you used to call the radio, like B97 and stuff like that. You got to keep calling. Because it's not like 8 lines or anything.
B97.
No, this is. I got this phone from Radio Shack, or I think it was Office Depot. So you got to keep calling, and eventually you get through. And look, man, people call the entire show. So
where's this guy that curses like a sailor, like he's working at the
Who's
St. Rock Seafood?
Yeah.
Pulling the big crawfish boils.
He's been calling for 3 years.
What's his name?
Yam Live.
Yam Live.
Yeah, I'm live. I mean, this is. I'm not gonna find out what this dude's first last name is. Who's what I'm saying? This guy just calls
for a living. I mean,
no. For all I know, he calls the show for a living. He's making a living.
He makes you break the fourth wall. I love it when you just look in the camera like, what is this dude? What is he doing?
They're very high on Derek Carr, huh?
Yeah.
Weeks 1 and 2. That's number 3 and 4.
Yeah, so I mean, it gives an opportunity to people who would never get on the radio to call.
Okay.
Like, they would never let these people on the radio. They have and look, it comes with its pros and cons, but it's that market of people calling into the show. Like I'm Live. I mean, this dude's a household name right now. I mean, seriously, I post a I'm Live.
Can we get him on?
Can we get him on?
Yeah.
Just for audio, sure. Yeah.
Hour number 2, straight ahead, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yeah, we can.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
See the off week for LSU, so we're juggling our schedule a little bit. We got Hold the Mayo with us for the first hour, and Matt Humans on Friday this
Hold
week.
the Mayo, legendary New Orleans YouTuber. I mean, an overnight quilt of all the crap all the fast food you eat, and all the drinking those heavy Budweisers, and a little NyQuil knocks you out. Man, I'm worried about you, Humans. You okay?
Not enough sleep.
Man, I'm getting old. I think I might start sleeping more because I've been feeling. I guess there was some sort of illness going around Circa last week. I was told there were 20 or 30 people sick, and I think it hit me this week. Believe it or not, I know the perception is I never get sick. Everybody gets sick, right? It's just some people call out sick to work and don't show up, and I always show up to work. Yesterday I was sleeping in a little bit. Today I'm up early and feeling much better. So there we go.
I'll tell you what made everybody sick was that Miami-Virginia Tech game.
I mean, how long have we been doing spots on the show? I mean, look, your pros play hurt. I mean, you never have excuses, whatever. You eat your fast food, every day of your life. You don't know with a fork or a knife or any plates at home. The whole thing. You could tell you in Laramie, Wyoming, what exit is Whataburger, whatever, the whole thing. But, man, I was worried. I called Wes. I said, Wes, look. Break away from, he says, man, I'm just listening to some Air Supply vinyl right now. I said, okay, that's fine, Wes, but I need to check on humans. I said, he was looking through old wrestling magazines, listening to Air Supply vinyl, but anyway, we're glad that you're back, brother. We're glad that you're back. Hey, you ripped them last week, man. I mean, shredded them, and I was, we've done this a lot, Matt, but man, I was pissed Wisconsin folded like a cheap suit, dude, when that guy fumbled a punt. Up 11, getting a punt in the third quarter, catching 14.5, 15. And, they folded. It was – they just – they didn't exactly fight through adversity. One of the things when I get my son through sports, I said, yes, son, sports is light. Crap ain't going to go your way all the time. You just got to keep plugging away and stuff like that. Have you ever seen a team that just – a collapse is overused. That was a collapse in the Coliseum on Saturday.
Well, you know what? I saw an Alabama team that almost collapsed.
They did.
The same way
right.
last week, and that was pretty scary because had Bama, and all of a sudden we're looking at a 2-point conversion, and we could be losing that bet. So that was crazy. I think on all my plays last week ended up college football ended up like 8-1 on the main plays, and the one loser you're talking about is Wisconsin. And I was actually getting 16 on the bet I made. They ended up losing by 17 after being up 21-10. 5 minutes into the third quarter, including the pick six with 5 minutes to go in the game. It helped USC cover, but
brutal.
I can't dwell. You can't dwell on things like that because obviously it's going to happen. And it's going to happen a lot the more games you bet. And, hey, who bet the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night, right? You got to feel pretty sick about that today. Yep.
But,
you
again, but I hedged out of a lot of it. Tried to hit a middle. If I could get a field goal from Tampa Bay and a touchdown at the end, I'll pop them out the park. But there's never been a bad meet you couldn't hedge out of. And I don't like to hedge in blowouts. But once that team that's behind shows a spark, and that they're about to come back, the momentum is real, man. And that was a great case. But look, don't sweat it. Junior, my son, look, he's fine. He had a great experience at the game. That's fine. And gave his fraternity 4-0. So they were tossing him around like he was the king of the world last week in Tuscaloosa. So anyway, the Wi-Fi didn't work for his first test. He got a C+. So I digress. But anyway. Michigan State and Oregon, and I was telling Devin, always look at the next week's schedule, see if there are look-ahead spots, and how long have we been talking this summer about this Oregon-Ohio State game next week. Maybe, Matt, that's part of your factoring in here, taking Jonathan Smith's first-year team in Michigan State, plus a 23 at Oregon.
Yeah, actually, I took 24 on this. That was that number was out there at DraftKings for about a day, and there was a couple other books that had 24. I don't know if it's going to go back there before kickoff, but it's the look-ahead spot's a big part of it, and I'm not sure it's going to hit Ohio State because the Buckeyes are playing an Iowa team that's got no offense. But the Iowa number has been coming down too. I think most handicappers for sharper groups are looking to back the dogs in these two games. And, Jonathan Smith is very familiar with the Ducks, too. Former Oregon State coach. Aiden Childs, his quarterback at Michigan State, was an Oregon State recruit. And I think Smith's done a really good job with this Michigan State team so far. Big win on the road at Maryland. Tough loss at Boston College. This team's been competitive, and Michigan State is going to get things turned around pretty quickly, I think, because they hired the right coach, Jonathan Smith. That's the thing about this game against Oregon on Friday night tonight is that the Ducks have to be looking ahead to Ohio State next week. That's a monster game, one of the biggest games of the season, and the biggest game of the Big Ten regular season. So I think that's a lot of points to be given a well-coached team that's been hanging in all these games here early in the season.
All right, the game day has not been to, I don't know, a handful of campuses. We'll scratch one off that list. They go to Berkeley this weekend. Move over, Christian versus Convicts. We got Woke and Coke here, California and Miami. Miami, California plus 10.5. My brother, baby, Jaden Ott. Feed him the pill for for Cal Berkeley. Miami, boy, a little home cooking, a little ACC desperation, keeping one of their main candidates for the college football playoff with that ruling on late Friday night last night. Again, we're looking at 10.5, 11 here. Cal catching points at home.
You know, before I get into that game, I'm going to mention too that if I can get 7 with Syracuse tonight against UNLV, I'm going to play that too because I really like the Rebels a week ago, but I think there's going to be probably an emotional flat spot or a letdown after everything that happened with UNLV last week, breaking in the new quarterback and playing so well, beating Fresno 59-14, that this number is a bit inflated. Now, I've talked to 2 handicappers, one who made UNLV a 1-point favorite over Syracuse, and the other made the number 8. I made the number 3.5. If it gets to 7, I'll probably take Syracuse in 7. I have not bought it up yet. I was waiting to see if it gets there tonight. Did you guys know UNLV is favored against Power 4, Power 5 opponent for the first time since 2008? That's 25 straight games. Cal, on Saturday night, I think is an upset candidate in Berkeley. And, hey, 10.5 is the number right now. There was 11.5 out there, but I think you're getting a lot of sharp play on Cal with keeping this number down because I would assume the public wants to play Miami here. And in 3 games head-to-head, Justin Wilcox, the Cal coach, 3-0 against the spread against Mario Cristobal. Definitely got the coaching edge with Wilcox, who had a bye week to prepare for this. He's one of the sharper defensive coaches in the country. This Cal team has already shown it's not going to be intimidated. The Bears went on the road, beat Auburn, should have beat Florida State, had a big yardage advantage in that game. And with the bye week to prep here for a Miami team that was off a last-second comeback win over Virginia Tech, a wild game last Friday night. I like Cal's chances here. Like you said, Jaden Ott, you got a couple running backs, stud running backs who can move the ball. I know that Cam Ward has been red hot, and he's got 18 touchdown passes. And he's among the Heisman favorites, I'll say, because I think there are plenty of quarterback candidates who can win the Heisman. Maybe Jackson Dart's not one of those anymore, but I think this Cal team's in a pretty good spot to pull the upset or at least cover the number late Saturday night. That's going to be that's a tricky road spot for the Hurricanes.
No doubt. We were all over UNLV with that, playing with a little extra edge, and I mean they were on fire. I mean they were playing like it was life or death. But, whenever you leave a lot of emotion on the field, you got that much less in the tank the next week. I'll give you another one, too. Duke came from 20-0 to beat crosstown rival North Carolina. Now they go in to play Georgia Tech coming off a bye. Keep your mind on that one as well. USC goes to Minnesota. Minnesota down 24-3 in the second half. Gets it to 27-24. Onside kick, recover, made-up call on offsides, cost them a chance, and went in. How about that? Miami gets the call. The stronger team, the stronger program gets the call in both of these. USC going to Minneapolis-St. Paul, laying 8.5 against the Gophers.
Yeah, I'm taking the points for the Gophers here, too. And again, since 2021, Lincoln Riley has been a road favorite 14 times. He's 3-11 against the spread in those games. But I think also it's a bit of a kind of a sandwich spot for USC off that Wisconsin game where they had to make the big comeback down 21-10, and now Penn State's going to the Coliseum next week. And this PJ Fleck team is like most Fleck teams, not that impressive, but it is going to fight. And I expect a lot of fight out of the home dog here. You know, it looked like the Gophers were left for dead last week at the Big House against that mediocre Michigan team, but fought back, got in the game, had a shot to win it. Max Brosmer is improving at quarterback. He threw for 258 against the Wolverines last week. Darius Taylor is a big-time running back, and this Minnesota defense is pretty good. If you look at the numbers across the board, it's legit. So I think that not only are the Trojans going to struggle to win that game in Minneapolis, I think that's a lot to ask to cover 8.5 on the Big Ten road here. So I do like Minnesota as a home dog as well.
All right, rematch of the national championship game last year, but is there any matchup in all of college football all season long that has two teams combined with the least remaining, returning starters? I mean, coaches are gone. I mean, the players are gone, the whole thing. But Washington seems a little bit better, and I think that, Alabama did pretty good after losing Saban to hire a guy like DeBoer. Washington did pretty good. Hire a guy like Fish after losing DeBoer. And then in Arizona, bringing in Brennan. I think all of those teams, kind of absorbed their blow, losing some real quality coaches pretty damn good in this whole thing. And Washington's better than I expected. It's down to 1 now. This thing was at 2.5, 3 earlier. It's down to 1 now at home against Michigan.
Yeah, it's down to 1 because a sharp group out of Canada pounded Michigan yesterday. And that number's dropped from 3 to as low as 1 this week. I don't like Michigan. I think this Michigan team's a fraud. And if you look at Alex Orji, the quarterback, who was promoted to full-time starter 2 weeks ago, he threw for 86 yards against Minnesota. The team had a total of 241 yards. He threw for 32 yards against USC. That's comical how bad that production is for the passing attack and Alex Orji. And again, the Wolverines are going to leave Ann Arbor for the first time all season. They played 5 straight home games. They beat 3 pretty weak teams, including Fresno State and Arkansas State. Got blown out by Texas. So they're 4-1 going on the road. And I think this number 10 ranking is based more on reputation from last year's team. But again, half the coaching staff's gone. 13 draft picks. Went to the NFL, the most of any program. I just don't see it with this Wolverines team. Washington, on the road at Rutgers last week, outgained the Scarlet Knights by 222 yards and lost the game 21-18. But Will Rogers threw for 306 in that game. He's got 75% completions, 10 touchdowns, no picks. Big advantage at the quarterback spot, strong home field. I know the sharp group from Canada came in on Michigan. Some others like Michigan as well. I don't. I like Washington here.
Michigan 130 out of 134 passing offense.
Well, I mean,
they're head of the service academies, not Navy.
They won 2.
The other 2.
They won 2 games, averaging 59 yards passing. I mean, come on, I mean, that's not sustainable. All right, nobody says intimidating. Home field advantage like they do at Snapdragon Stadium. My son dragged me to Wrexham there. Okay, great. You talk about just leave me in Delmar, boy. San Diego State at home at Snapdragon -2 against Hawaii.
Yeah, these are 2 pretty bad football teams, actually, and I don't have a problem fading the Warriors on the mainland. So far, they have 2 wins. Both came against FCS opponents at home, Delaware State, Northern Iowa, and I don't see many elite players on this Hawaii football team. I think the talent level's way down. The only path to victory is Braden Shager, the quarterback, and Pefeli Ashlock, the wide receiver. That's a pretty good combination. But other than that, Hawaii just doesn't have much. They can't run the ball at all. I'm going to go with the team that can run the ball. And Marquez Cooper's a stud running back. San Diego State's almost always got a stud running back, and that's Marquez Cooper. And I thought Danny O'Neal, the freshman quarterback, played much better last week. Passed for 246 yards in that road game in Central Michigan that the Aztecs blew. They gave it away. They lost 22-21. I think this is one they got to get. And I know the San Diego State team's nothing special. The last time I was down there, I watched them lose to Oregon State 21-0. But I think this is a good spot for the Aztecs, and the number's cheap. So I'm going to take a shot -2 here with San Diego State.
All right, Matt, your best pro game that you like this week.
Let's see. NFL's been going pretty well so far. I like a lot of spots in this NFL card. I don't love any one game. But I'll tell you, I want to go. I saw Caesars William Hill move to 3 on Vikings Jets. The look ahead line on that was Jets minus 2.5. Now you can grab Jets plus 3. DraftKings had a 3. Caesars William Hill. I'll probably play this in the contest at 2.5. I did bet a little bit of plus 3, but Sunday morning game in London. Let's buy on bad news, which is kind of a contrarian play. Vikings have reached the top of the market here, being favored by 2.5 or 3 on a neutral. And I know there's not a lot to like about the Jets. You know, they lost the game last week when the opposing quarterback threw for 60 yards on 25 attempts. Broncos had 3.3 yards per play. That was a ridiculous loss for the Jets last week, and that cost a lot of bettors. I know I had the Jets on money line parlays or teasers. Aaron Rodgers was sacked 5 times. Sometimes you got to buy on bad news. That's what we do here with the Jets. I think after blowing a game last week that you absolutely can't lose, I think they'll probably upset or take down the 4-0 Vikings in London.
All right, man, I'll give you a little money line parlay, just a little bit plus money, not much, basically even money. So New Orleans is known as a drinking town, okay? Military, Army, Navy, 2-lane whiskey, all right? And go to sleep. So just a little money line parlay for you tomorrow.
Yeah, whiskey. I got whiskey on about 4 money line parlays myself. That seems like a free spot.
Spoken like a proud Purdue alum, huh?
And a lot of love for Purdue, Dave.
That's alma mater.
There ain't a lot of love for him.
Well, basketball's coming, man. Zach Edey got any more eligibility?
When you watch a football team fall apart in front of your eyes, you got to profit off of it. The coaching situation's a mess there. Hey, by the way, I do kind of like the Saints on Monday night too. That was what I thought about that. Yep.
Yeah, we do too.
Mac,
get better, brother. Get better. All right, we'll talk to you next week. Good luck, man.
Okay, thanks.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings, 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service is what you get when you dial 296-0060. Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, our great staff at Legacy Title. Buying, building, refinancing, nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title, 296-0060. Jimmy Yacht, Hold the Mayo, Hanny, Max, Macero, live from San Diego when we come back.
Live at lunch, Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
And our friends at the Pierre Port store and the Thibodeau store. You're fixing up your house. You got some painting to do. You got some concrete to lay. Minor repairs that you don't want to bring somebody in, you can save some money. Let the experts at the Thibodeau store help you out. And I don't just mean, selling you a YouTube video. I'm talking about walk you through step by step, get you the right supplies, make sure you're not wasting time or money. Power tools, hand tools, plumbing supplies, electrical supplies, lumber. You can deliver lumber out of the Pierre Port store for you. Plus, if you're going down the coast, you're going fishing, lots of fishing gear, unique cypress furniture, crawfish pots, jambalaya pots, big green egg cookers, and a large selection of grills. It's all on 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. Online order for pickup or delivery at ThibodeauStore.com.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Back here at Rufino's, Live at Lunch, Lock of the Week
All
Friday.
right, let's go out to San Diego, talk to my boy Chris Macero. Chris, how's San Diego, man? Took care of business 2-0 against the Atlanta Braves, and now set up, man, the rematch against the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's feeling a lot to me like 2003, 2004 Red Sox, where they kind of got over that hump versus the Yankees, and I think there's some similarities to the fan bases and the stadium, and just get a slay Goliath, and I'm rooting for them. I have some nice future tickets on them for National League and for the World Series, so we'll see what happens. The pitching definitely favors San Diego, but that Musgrove injury, not ideal.
Oh, what? Give me the details. I missed that.
Oh, he had some stiffness in his arm. He came out of the game. He's probably going to be done. He's definitely not pitching in the series. Yeah.
Man, the kid that pitched in the first game that got in the Soto trade from the Yankees, man, he was ridiculously sharp, huh?
That was a gem. It's nice to see that. It would have been nice to see him go. Well, you don't see many complete game shutouts in the playoffs anymore, but 7 innings, pretty sharp, 12 strikeouts. Very impressive for a young guy.
Well, the Padres got their stadium built. I've been going to Padres games for 30 years now, and even with Qualcomm. But, once they lost the Chargers, and you've been there for a while now too, Chris, and, man, it's like in the end, the owner became a buyer. I mean, a player. And – not all of them have worked out. I mean, I'm listening to local sports talk in San Diego. When they got Soto, I mean, they were playing in a parade. I mean, I was like, wait a minute, you got to win some games yet. But
yeah, they got to win that. They got to win now because they have a lot of financial commitments for the next couple of years. I'm not sure how they're going to afford them. They don't have a TV deal. They don't have a pre and post game show. They got a lot of issues. It's a thing where someone could come in with big pockets and turn it into the greatest baseball franchise going, but they have a lot of financial restrictions at the moment.
But then once they lost the Chargers, and we can go way back when they lost the Clippers as well. But once the Chargers left, then it was like, okay, the town is all in. I mean, that's as strong of a home field advantage as there is in MLB right now.
Yeah, it's comparable to like a college football environment or a college basketball environment, just rabid fans.
You got your Ole Miss tickets, or you worried the damn runts, boy? I mean, they find ways to, huh?
The only good news is I had a future on them not to make the playoff, which pays me pretty sizable because it came in with some other baseball futures. So I have that to fall back on, but obviously not happy with the result on last Saturday. Although my best bet under in the total came in pretty easy.
All right, let's get to it. James Franklin, when he's a big favorite, he goes out of his way to cover. They just weren't good enough last week. Illinois played them very, very tight. It was a 7-point game to get the pick six to make the final 14, but they're back at it again. Big favorite here. You're on them.
Yeah, I'm on Penn State minus a 27.5 or 28. I'm not sure what number you guys are using. UCLA this year, round trip travel to Hawaii, 5,100 miles. Round trip travel to Baton Rouge, 3,600 miles, 2,500 miles to State College. They're over 11,000 miles traveled this year. This offense is doing nothing. Last week, completely manhandled by Oregon, who kind of took the foot off the gas in the second half. The only reason UCLA scored, they had that pick six at the end of the first half that cost me my cover. This team's got blown out by Indiana. LSU guys blew them out down there. They have one win over Hawaii, which was a miracle. They were trailed by 10 at halftime. I just don't see how, in a noon start East Coast time, coming from the West Coast, how UCLA much of any offense, let alone any points. And I just can't see it. And I think the Franklin factor, where they didn't cover last week, they didn't really put up that much offense. I think they're going to open it up against a very mediocre UCLA team. Penn State's averaging 7.4 yards a play on offense. And their defense, which no one's really talking about, is top 4 in the country. They're only averaging 3.7 yards a play defensively versus a UCLA team that doesn't score much. So I'm riding with the Nittany Lions on Saturday.
Max has been on this for a couple of years now. That Joker will go out of his way to cover if he can on these big spreads. All right, UConn minus 17.5 against Temple. You're digging deep here.
Yeah, I didn't really like the card that much this week, so I was trying to look for a team where just there's an obvious matchup advantage, and UConn has really been running the ball really well, except for the first game. We'll just toss that game out. They had 3 turnovers against Maryland, got blown out, but they had 274 yards against Merrimack, 179 rushing against Duke, 421 against Florida Atlantic, 257 against Buffalo. So this UConn team's really running the ball, and that's the one thing Temple can't do. They can't stop the run. Army gashed them for 417 last Thursday night, 7.2 yards a carry. Utah State 186, Coastal 184. Navy ran it up for 297 on 6 yards a carry, and Oklahoma rushed for 217, another blowout. Temple's 2 road losses are by 48 to Oklahoma and by 27 to Navy. I really don't see how this Temple team slows UConn down. Moore is a good coach. They got a decent quarterback. They've been pretty hot. They've been scoring a lot of points, and Temple is just in a world of hurt. I think 17 is pretty light.
All right, Washington and Michigan. Michigan winning games with averaging 59 yards a game passing. How long is that? Can that hold up? They go to Seattle, take on Washington. Washington a little bit better than expected after being gutted, man. Good coach, good fish. You like Washington -1 here against Michigan.
Yeah, the only thing I don't understand about this game is that everyone's on Washington, the line's going the other way, so that's always a little fishy. But I know it's not a real revenge game because no one's back for either team, but for the fans, it's a revenge game, and that place is going to be crazy. I mean, this is a national championship rematch. Like I said, it's totally different scenarios, but the fans are going to be into it. Washington is 3-2, easily could be 5-0. They had they outgained Washington State in the game they lost. They had 4th and goal from the 1 with one minute left, didn't get in. Last week they outgained Rutgers 421 to 299. 23 first downs to 15. I was on Rutgers last week. They got out early, kind of held on, but you could say Washington might have been the better team. So this Washington team could be 5-0. Meanwhile, Michigan, 4-1, but they played all 5 games at home. They got smoked by Texas in their only real tough game. Minnesota looked pretty solid last week. Michigan's defense looked pretty tired down the stretch because they're on the field all the time. Because this Alex Orji, he can't complete a forward pass. 86 yards last week, 32 yards against USC, 134 yards against Arkansas State. And you got a Steve Belichick defense with Vinny Cincinnati, the safeties coach, 2 ex-Patriot defenders, 2 ex-Patriots coaches. They're going to scheme something up to stop the run and make them beat them in the pass, and I don't think he can do it. So I'll lay whatever the number is you're giving me with Washington, whether it's 1.5 or 2.
It's -1.
I think Washington's the better team. Yeah, I'll take Washington -1. I think they're the better team.
All right, and at home, San Diego State-Hawaii game. Humans is on San Diego State in this one. 48.5 is the total you're looking at.
Yeah, Circa opened this game at 45.5 Sunday morning. It quickly got bet up to 48 and then got hit again up to 51. At that point, it started finding some resistance. We're back down to 48.5. These two teams have played 8 games combined, and the only time the total has gone over or even close to that total was against 2 subdivision teams. San Diego State and played A&M Commerce, and Hawaii played Delaware
Two
State.
subdivision teams.
Yeah, I don't even know what you call those division. They used to call them Division 2 or 3. So Sean Lewis runs this fast-paced offense for San Diego State, but he doesn't have the personnel to run it because his quarterback only completes 50% of his passes. So how are you going to run a up-tempo, fast-paced offense when your quarterback, is barely 50%? So they're 32% on third down. This is not an offense that does anything. It's 4.3 yards a play, and Hawaii is in the same boat, 4.2 yards a play. So unless we get some crazy defensive scores or special teams touchdowns, I see this game staying under.
Chris, do you have a 5th pick this week?
Oh, this was a tough one. What numbers are we using on the Pittsburgh, North Carolina game?
We're using the DraftKings numbers since it's our friends here at the Queen Hotel. Pittsburgh, North Carolina, still 3. Pittsburgh is undefeated against the spread, too, huh?
Yeah, they good against the spread.
Yeah, Eli Holstein, a local kid, quarterback in Pitt.
It's tough to trust that Narduzzi as a coach, but I'm going to go with it because I think this UNC team is nailing it in. Mac Brown's seen better days. It's going to be a sleepy 9 a.m. start. I think if Pittsburgh gets a lead early, they might just put them away. It's tough to lay points, and I'm laying points all over the place this week, but I didn't really like any home dogs that much, so I guess I'll go with Pittsburgh as my 5th play.
Yeah, how about this? College football, that's where we are today. UCLA is playing in the Central Times. UCLA is playing at 11 a.m. and Miami's playing at 9:30.
Conference games.
Both the conference games. Well, that's the only reason.
Hey, before I go, I have one request. I got a buddy who really likes that Libby Dunn. Can you get him some of those new baseball cards that she has out?
We'll work on it. Look, man, she's under tight wraps, man. They got some sickos following her around, bro. I mean, Paul Skeens is going to be just fine, though. Hey, look, what was the name of that crazy beach bar you brought us into in Pacific Beach? I mean, it's a Friday like at 1, and for 25 to 65, these people like it's spring break. I mean, it's on the beach. I mean, what was the name of that joint?
Oh, that's Lahaina's, just named after the city in Hawaii. Lahaina Beach House.
I mean, that place is like that every day.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Most people sometimes they're open for breakfast, Jimmy. They're open for breakfast. Have some eggs in them. Have some eggs and a pitcher of bud.
I can tell you what, Lahain has got a little bit more atmosphere than Snapdragon. Okay, man, poor San Diego State. I mean, I was getting some paperwork done with the little girl at the counter at LeBaer's Hotel, so they got a little office thing, and I had to get some copy stuff from my son's school, and she goes, "Oh, Snapdragon gets crazy."
San Diego?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
I've been to
yes.
San Diego.
It's
Loved my time.
As crazy as a church. I mean,
La Jolla?
Trust me, I brought you. Me and Humans went to a game. We went to the game against Oregon State. It was one of the worst sporting events I've ever attended. I mean, they didn't score.
No, they didn't. They couldn't get a first down, dude. It was bad, man. It was bad. Chris, you're the best, man. Good luck, and hey, go Pods, baby.
All right, good luck this weekend. Thanks for having me.
Yes, indeed. Our buddy Chris Massaro live from PB, and but it's kind of like the party area.
Where's
San
he
Diego.
from?
He's from Boston.
Ah, God, Doc, it is.
yes. So Matt Hume, you say he sounds like Morgan Freeman?
Yeah.
Well, I think he took his Morgan Freeman NyQuil because he's a little deeper and slower than usual. But yeah, he's a Purdue grad.
He started not sounding like Morgan Freeman more and more as the
really?
Yeah, so I could tell like maybe you start feeling better. I don't know.
I think so. I think handicapping is therapeutic.
It is. You telling me? I
sound like Morgan Freeman. Get some voiceover work.
Yes, indeed.
Pays well.
Yes, indeed. The only consistent thing out of Oxford, huh?
I did go to San Diego.
We're gonna give Mitzi, but God bless them if they lose tomorrow. Huh? Is it South Carolina? Oh, come on, Charlie. They got it. They got a chance.
Quarterback and the running back are back for South Carolina. Sellers and Sanders.
Hey, Sellers is nice.
Sellers and Sanders, baby. Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, where Devin, you played Boo Ray down there in Golden Meadow. So
we'll leave it at that.
And Yahtzee.
We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. Great folks over at United Community Bank. Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Prentice Wilkes, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. Stop on by, see how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Why are we?
Presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments from Rufino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We back? Huh? Jordan, we back? Huh?
Jordan.
This is too much fun.
It's too much fun. A lively atmosphere over here. Working Barry, the bartender behind the bar. Always festive over here at Rufino's. Don't forget, this week, the Kofta kebabs. Yes, indeed.
Gotcha.
Pork and ground beef skewers, marinated artichoke with the piquillo pepper coulis.
That was well done.
Kraut strudel egg rolls. Not your normal egg rolls, right?
No,
these are more Jade Knott egg rolls, huh?
No, these are specifically imported.
Hot to go.
Hot to go. You ought to go get them egg rolls.
So late Saturday night, you can get OTTTOGO. Yeah, there you go.
Let me ask you a question real quick. If you had a cover band, what would be the name of it? Because I was thinking Jimmy Ott and the Ostriches.
No.
Pretty good. I like that.
What they used to call a lot of refer to some of my callers back in the day. Because I always. I mean, come on, look, being from where we're from, you thrive. You encourage the characters to come
Absolutely.
Out. Right? So they would call it the Oddballs.
Okay, yeah, Jimmy Ott and the Oddballs. All right.
There you go. All right, the Kraut strudel egg rolls. I think Hal devoured them.
They look good.
I mean, so
the mustard sauce.
Ground beef, bacon, sauerkraut, caraway seed with the creamy beer mustard. Entree features this weekend. Our fish is the red grouper, pan-seared red grouper, shrimp etouffee with jasmine rice. Suggested wine pairing is a Pine Ridge Chenin Blanc from Napa. New Orleans ribeye, 16-ounce ribeye with New Orleans-style barbecue shrimp, mashed potatoes. Suggested wine pairing, Frank Family Cabernet from Napa as well. And our dessert feature this weekend, we're getting into the fall season, baby. Pumpkin brulee with the chalet whipped cream with the candied pumpkin seeds served in a miniature pumpkin. How about that?
I'll tell you what, that's cute.
Miniature pumpkin. We got to get you one of those. I mean, you are not leaving here till you have a little Chenin Blanc.
It
little
just
mini
sounds phenomenal.
Speaking of phenomenal, my man Paul Stone, he loves him some Malik Neighbors. He loves him some Malik Willis. Paul Stone, you can catch all of our stuff wherever you catch your your podcast. Free picks. They're free. Doesn't
Free.
cost you anything.
Good
and
picks.
that's Sports Better's Paradise YouTube channel. Subscribe. That way you're notified as soon as we drop it each and every week. Here's Paul Stone talking about USC and Minnesota Trojans laying 8.5 on the road.
You're listening to Sports Better's Paradise on the Bet Rivers Network.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Jimmy, I mean, Southern Cal, they trailed Wisconsin 21-10 at halftime this past weekend. Rallied for a 38-21 victory over the Gophers, and they were done in a little bit by turnovers. The Trojans had 3 turnovers rather, 3 against Minnesota. They've committed a total of 5 in their last 2 games, so they need to cut out those turnovers from their perspective. Minnesota, meanwhile, as you mentioned, they made a frantic comeback. They fell behind 24-3 going into the fourth quarter, pulled within 27-24. On a 12-yard touchdown pass from Max Brosmer to Daniel Jackson with 1:37 to go. You mentioned the onside kick that they recovered that was then controversially negated due to an offside penalty against the Gophers, which has since caused the Big Ten to reconsider their alignment of officials on onside kick attempts. So they did bring some change there, but they get the loss nonetheless. Minnesota now 2-3 on the season, 0-2 in conference play. So they're in desperation mode. They need a victory. There's never really a silver lining in a defeat, but they might have gained a little bit of confidence in that comeback effort in the fourth quarter there in Ann Arbor this past weekend. But what I really like most here is USC head coach Lincoln Riley as a road favorite. He has not been good as a road favorite dating back to 2021, which was his last season at Oklahoma. Riley only 2-10 against the spread as a road favorite in his last 12 games in that role. Also, the Trojans, they have a pretty big game on deck next week. They're going to be going to Happy Valley to play Penn State, so they could have one eye to the east, so to speak. I think Minnesota is going to keep it within a touchdown, try to kind of muck it up, keep it tight. I like the Gophers +8.
All right, don't forget our friends at Total Diamond Performance. Their high school fall baseball program is there. It's all set and ready to go. Be offering 3 4-week sessions over the course of the fall. 2024 Total Diamond Performance High School Fall Baseball Program offers a blend of skill acquisition training, throwing, hitting, defense, paired with strength and agility training. Players will be placed in small groups to optimize quality of instruction and maximize repetitions. And also our brand new facility coming just around the corner as well. They start September 30th, so first session is underway. Reserve your spot for future sessions. We've got another one October 28th to November 22nd and November 25th to December 20th. So if you a little bit late, you maybe jump into this first session a little bit later. But Nick at tdpbaseball.com to reserve your spot today and for more information. That's Nick at tdpbaseball.com. Total Diamond Performance High School Baseball Program.
Live at lunch here, Log of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments from Rufino's on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Quick update on Malik Neighbors, since you were putting that out. He's going to miss a game.
No.
He's going to miss a game Sunday against the Seahawks. He has not gotten out of the concussion
Can I change
protocol.
my pick?
You know what's crazy
I wanna
about
go to
that?
Seahawks. No, seriously, that's a game. I mean, Danny Dimes. I mean, without that guy, that's going to be rough.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
I mean,
What's crazy about that is you look at the play where he got concussed, and this which makes me really wonder
yeah,
about.
on the sideline, huh?
First of all, this is a normal fall to the ground. Okay, he caught a ball on the sideline, a normal fall to the ground, and that concuss. It just makes me wonder about how safe is all these things they put out. You know,
Well, I could tell you this: they slammed the quarterback for UTEP down to the ground last week. Well, they don't have the same. There's no. I mean, this was as bad, if not worse, than some of those two. I mean, just slammed the back of his head on turf. He just gets back up and goes in.
Wow.
Oh no, yeah. Different levels of attention and to the concussions in the NFL as compared to some what was that, man? That UTEP team, they were going backwards on offense last night. Kenny White, we lost that one. So, but anyway, how about the Mets game last night, Charlie? So I'm playing baseball every day. I mean, I've never heard of these two guys that hit home runs for the Brewers. Me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching as much MLB as you can get. I don't have the sound in every game. I get it, but I don't know who these guys are.
You know who Pete Alonso is, right?
Oh, yeah, I know Polar Bear Pete. And when he hit it, knowing his power, and I mean, you know, he's top 5 as far as when he hits it, you know his power. Rarely, he doesn't go oppo a whole lot.
No.
He doesn't, but, man, when he hit it, I was like, oh, that's got a chance. I pulled that one out the hat. Yeah.
First time in a deciding game of a playoff series that a come-from-behind homer's hitting the ninth, which is, I thought Mazeroski's was, but that wasn't, from back in 1960. So a historical hit for him.
I mean, but the 0-0, you get to the 7th inning, back-to-back shots from the guys who are 24th and 25th on the roster for the Brewers. Place is going bananas, and give Lindor credit. He's right at the top starting, and he got on to start the inning, and then they got that single by Nimmo, and then Polar Bear Pete went. I mean, what a one!
He reminds me of Giambi. He's just got a Giambi vibe to him. Pete Alonso just got that built, of Jason Giambi. I always say Kay Beluso reminded me of Giambi too.
Oh, yes.
So I don't know, man.
Joey Votto. Joey Votto.
Yeah.
But the Polar Bear Pete from Florida. What did when his teams are there? Did he make a run? I mean, he's the guy who went back-to-back home run derby, All-Star game.
Yeah.
But this Mets team's got some these games. I mean, that's 3 in the last 2 days of the playoffs where teams you got to lead in the 8th inning or later, and the team lost. Astros had the lead in the 8th inning. And Presley's been so dependable on these 7 ALCS runs. He got hit and gave it up. The Mets against the Brewers. They had the lead in the 8th in Game 2. And then last night, Mets-Brewers Game 3. So, feels sad. But that's 3 out of the 4 dogs. The visiting teams won the series. That is unusual. Now, we're also coming off the heels of a wild card World Series where both Texas and Arizona were wild cards. But still, it's the greatest month in the world, man. Greatest month ever, baby.
Yeah, I always got to be reminded. And last night, I was watching SportsCenter and I saw the Pete Alonso highlights and stuff. I was like, wow, it's here.
So what you doing on a Sunday with no Saints game?
Peacefully watching Red Zone, which is awesome.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because you don't get to do that when the Saints on.
Right.
If you're a real Saints fan, you're going to watch the Saints game.
Just Red Zone at the house?
Man, how fun does that sound?
I got to be at the sports book.
Oh, no, man.
Oh, yeah.
No,
yes,
man.
indeed.
Too many people talk, man. No. So if I'm betting, I don't want to be people in my ears and stuff, I like to bet, by myself. I know it sounds depressing, but it's true. If I go to a bar, watch a game, bets,
you're
all
a
that stuff.
person of the people.
I am, but when it comes to betting, you got to, I can't be at a bar, dude. First of all,
but at Sportsbook, I got a spot for you.
No. If it's you, no.
Take an hour,
absolutely.
Hour
but
drive.
If I go to Evangeline by my house or something like that, I got 20 people asking me about red beans.
Yeah, no kidding.
I want to fight.
Oh, Cinco de Mayo, these 2 girls next to you go, ooh, that Red Bean Man.
Yeah.
I love Red Bean Man.
I'll still talk to one of them. Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah.
Really?
You got to hold your relationships, all right?
Back with our number 3 here from Rufino's Lock of the Week Friday. Tex Morris, Edward Jones Investments. Pete Alonso on 2 College World Series teams. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, we went from 8 out of our non-contributing handicappers had winning weeks to last week 6 had winning weeks, 2 losing weeks, and Chris went 2-2-1, Chris Macero. But nobody's been hotter than our veteran handicapper. Guy's been doing it for 25, 30 years with us, Mr. Bruce Marshall, out from Las Vegas now. How you doing, Brucey? You get hot lately.
Hey, baby. I am. Yeah, we're getting ready. We got Syracuse coming into town tonight. It's kind of hopping here.
Okay, the emotion. They play with their hair on fire. Hoxaluka, they sent him off away. The team rallies around this quarterback. This quarterback played. He was more productive than the kid, that they stiffed on the $100,000, with NIL payment, whatever you want to call it, pay for play.
Yep.
So, but, man, Bruce, this is college football. You leave that much emotion on the field. You got that much less in the tank moving forward. Do they still have enough to move? What kind of – is this a little bit of a flat spot, a little bit of a letdown, exhale spot after playing so well against Fresno last week?
Well, that's a fair question, but a couple things. One, look at UNLV's mark since Barry Odom got there. They have rarely had any letdowns, and the only time they sort of did was at the end of last season, right at the end, when they were just the manpower shortages, the depth, the defense kind of was injured and banged up. But his point spread record has been dynamic, and they rarely get. I think this is the first ACC team that has ever come in here to play. So, and they'll pack Allegiant tonight. Now they don't sell tickets in the upper deck at Allegiant Stadium, so they'll call it a sellout, and it won't. You'll see the upper deck, no seats. But the bottom deck they're going to probably fill up tonight. Haj Malik Williams. By the way, they call it the Haj Mahal now. That's their new nickname for the Allegiant.
Haj Malik, Haj Mahal, baby. There you go.
There you
All right.
go. Well, he put up some very good numbers at Campbell at the FCS level, and we talked about this last week. He was kind of running neck and neck with Sluka in the fall, and Odom just made the decision to go with Sluka. But he actually thinks he's got three quarterbacks he can win with, and we saw what Haj Malik did last week. That is a fair question though about Syracuse. Are they going to let something on the field? But the track record with Odom says that they just keep it going. Now the question is how good is Syracuse, and what is McCord going to be able to do? Because they've been better than expected for Fran Brown early. That win over Georgia Tech was impressive. They lost to the gun to Stanford. I'm not going to make a pick on this one tonight, but it's kind of exciting, though, to have a little buzz around town for the football team.
Bruce, Game Day, the ultra-popular ESPN college football game pregame show is crossing one of their spots they've never been off. Boy, I would figure you'd be right there. You're hanging in the tree. The breeding ground of liberalism right up your alley, huh, Brucey?
Well, those guys aren't going to go to Berkeley unless you pay them a lot. So all those guys sitting on the set are getting paid a lot tomorrow. Otherwise, no reason to go there. But that's what they'll be.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, Bruce is our historian, Dev. Okay?
Yeah.
So he's our historian. But here you go, Charlie. Here's another one for you. Back in 1959, Brucey, Ole Miss, Johnny Vaught, they were scheduled to play LSU at Jackson, but he gave more money, sold the game, and lost his competitive advantage. They lose, cost him a national championship. They're cursed, by the way, just to let you know. So Ole Miss, the classic fallout of a curse. How do you lose
eight
that
out of
game?
9, I think. Eight out of 9
against Ole Miss there. So. What do you make of that Ole Miss loss to Kentucky, and then this spot 2 weeks in a row? They have to play on the road at South Carolina, at Baton Rouge, against teams coming off a bye, and they're still 9-point favorites tomorrow against South Carolina.
Yeah, this is one underdog I like, and I think Johnny Vaught did that a few times when he'd sell the game to Baton Rouge because all the more tickets they could sell. But, yeah, it came back to bite him in 59. They got him in the Sugar Bowl. That's what the Ole Miss people will remind you. But last week there was no reason. I don't buy that Ole Miss was flat last week. They had the first month of the season, the first 4 weeks. It was all sort of tune-ups there. The Wake Forest is not that good this year. Everything should have been focused on the SEC. And maybe I think Kentucky. Maybe I just lost the scent a bit after the South Carolina game, and I might not be alone in that. But they were able to jam up Mississippi. Ole Miss really good. And they finally found enough offense to win. I think this is a very dangerous spot. Hearing some things from Ole Miss that Lane, we'll see. Remember his dad passed away in the summer, and apparently that impacted him some. And I'm not sure, he's had his hands on the wheel as much. I don't know. That's just some thoughts that we have. But something was missing last week. South Carolina might be better than we all thought. I was surprised that they should have won the LSU game. The 31-6 over Kentucky is really sticking out now as a star-studded effort. Now, Sellers may play tomorrow. He was practicing this week, but Ashford has stepped in and played very well. Played very well against LSU off the bench, and he looked great against Akron. This is one I would almost look at the money line here. Definitely take South Carolina +9. But if you want to walk on the wild side, maybe give the Gamecocks a look just to win this thing outright. Get a good price.
Bruce, I've got to debate that point. Ashford did not play well in the LSU game. I mean, it was a complete fall off. With Sellers, they never punted. With Ashford, they punted 3 times in the second half. So, no, it was a big drop. And pretty much everybody in Baton Rouge sort of concedes if Sellers doesn't get hurt, LSU's going to have a hard time.
You're right. Yeah, I was thinking more of the Akron game where you looked good last
Sellers
time.
in the your tune-ups, you're being nice by that term. Rent-a-wins, okay? I mean, come on, Ole Miss. Like, really? They might be a bully. That's one of your terms you use a lot. I mean, they just whoop up on the teams. The first team they play with a pulse, goes in there and whoops them at their place. Man, they don't sell out much over there. They were all in. It was just, need to go back what they do best. Because there always been runs. Say, well, there's never a party we've never lost. Just stick to that. Stick what you do best. Oddy toddy. Gosh almighty, we're going to beat somebody. Wake Forest. Good one. All right, let's move on. Who else you got, Bruce? Give us a few picks.
Well, I got some favorites this week now that I'm looking at it, and some of them are on the almost all these are from the group of 5 category. Let's start off with the highest regarded of these, Boise. Now we're laying almost 4 touchdowns to Utah State tomorrow on the blue carpet. Utah State is a disaster, and what's gone on there is very, very regrettable. The new AD came in there, Diana Sabal, and he wanted a new coach. And if you listen to Blake Anderson, they went beyond the call of duty to force him out in a situation that maybe should have been a reprimand for him. He lost his job over it. He's taken it to court. You just, all right, fill in the blanks if you want with this new AD. The interim coach Nate Dreiling is completely out of his element here and overmatched. Boise, listen, Genty, he's not running against SEC or Big Ten defenses, but in the Mountain West, I'm not sure who can tackle this guy. And I think Utah State is just being served up on a slab here to Boise, which this looks like one of these 49-7 sort of games. So I will do it with Boise tomorrow. I will also do it with UConn tomorrow. Watch these guys. Look at some of these scores. I mean, Florida Atlantic and Buffalo are not that bad. And
what about Duke?
Duke, well, they almost beat Duke.
Yep, had a lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they boat raced Florida Atlantic and Buffalo. They are running the ball like heck. They're 11th in the nation in rushing. Now, Mora's got 2 quarterbacks he has used. Fagnano transferred from Maine. He was there last year. He came up with the offensive coordinator, came down with the offensive coordinator from Maine. And Evers, who transferred in from Oklahoma. Evers was knocked out of the game last week. Not sure of his status here. Fagnano came in through 3 touchdown passes. He's got 10 touchdown passes already this year. And they are running like heck. Temple is bad. They are right near the bottom nationally in rush defense. Now, they have played Army and they have played Navy. But you can see this is not going anywhere. Stan Drayton there. And I would lay it. You've got over 2 touchdowns here with UConn, but the way they're killing teams in Temple, just putting up no resistance, I'll do it there. And one other one, Navy again. You just knew I would bring Navy up, right? But I think the Frank Broyles Award this year, a candidate is Drew Cronick, the offensive coordinator for Navy. Brian Newberry brought him up from Mercer, where he had been head coach and won pretty well, really resurrected Mercer after doing it with Lenore Ryan before that, and offense with wing T principles. So this is a little bit different than what Navy's been running with the option, and nobody can stop these guys. Blake Horvath has been putting up monster numbers, and totally different than last year. Now, normally we went under in these service academy games for years. I'm not sure I want to do that here just because Navy's so potent. But I will say this is Troy Calhoun's worst Air Force team. I know 2013 they had a rough go, but that year they got wiped out by injuries, like 5-6 quarterbacks. They could still run a little bit. This team, they're not even running this year at Air Force. This is a bad Air Force team. The only win is over Merrimack. And Navy will not ease up against another service academy. because they don't like each other. So I'm actually going to lay points with Navy at Falcon Stadium tomorrow.
This is the part, Devin, where I asked Bruce to give us an obscure off the beaten path. He's giving us all of them.
yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Bruce, he's giving us all of them.
Maybe we could ask you for a Power 5 conference.
Let me ask you what the only ranked matchup we have. Texas A&M hosting the Missouri Tigers. Missouri, a lot of shakeups. The real off-season discussions in the SEC. We're checking out who got the long straw, the short straw in the SEC as far as scheduling is concerned. Oklahoma got the short straw. It seems like Texas. Missouri's one of them. They got a favorable draw. I mean, they're going to be. This one they could have been favored in. The only other one is at Alabama. The other one, 10 other ones, they're going to be favored in. So, like Georgia, big step up in schedule from what they've had the last few years because the East has been down so much. I mean, they go to Ole Miss, they go to Alabama, they've already been to Alabama, they go to Texas, and they play Tennessee as well. So now Missouri goes in here. Now is Elko gained 5? Is he more familiar with his roster? He certainly made a quarterback change since the first time they had a similar game to matchup when they hosted Notre Dame. So Elko did round 2 as far as having the spotlight on Texas A&M hosting Missouri. They're 1.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, Marcel Reed has shown the ability to make some plays here, and they were really on the ropes last week. In the second half, they were doing nothing against Arkansas, and Reed fired up a drive, made a few plays, ended up winning the game. So the Elko influence here looks like he's got a grip on it, and the defense is solid. Mizzou, though, off week there after the Vanderbilt scare. The difference with Mizzou this year, I always thought, last year we knew they were good from, at least midseason on, or certainly from the LSU game that went right down to the wire. They lost. We knew something was happening good with Mizzou there. But I thought they were sort of sneaking up on people a little bit last year. I mean, they're wearing a much bigger target this season. And the first couple games, it looked like Eli was keeping things under wraps a little bit. And they had to find something against Vanderbilt or they were going to lose that game. But they did win it. They did pull it out. And if you're talking about experience at quarterback and you want to go with somebody here, I mean, Cook is pretty good. They're starting to they have to get Burden a little bit more involved with the offense, so he does have 4 TD passes. I'm going to lean a little to Mizzou here, just a little. I like Cook. A&M is walking that tightrope there against Arkansas. They could have lost that game. It was a big emotional game for them. But I'm going to give Eli and Mizzou a vote. I don't love this one that much, but I'm going to lean that way a bit.
All right, Bruce. Great stuff, man. You've been hot. Been really good. You got an opinion in the Dodgers-Padres series?
I don't want the Dodgers to win.
I don't either, man. Poor San Diego. Don't you want them to? They've never won a World Series, and I mean,
might be the year.
I don't know how sustainable it is. We had Chris Massaro just on from San Diego, and he doesn't know how they're going to pay some of these bills. I mean, without really strong television contracts, I mean, you can't get it. It's the local. The cable outlets out in San Diego pre- and post-game, so they're just relying on ticket sales a lot. They do very well with the ticket sales, but damn, I mean, and once they lost the Chargers, they're all in. The city's all in, and they're good, and they're capable. They've been better than the Dodgers since the All-Star break. The All-Star break, they were one game over 500. Nobody's been better than the Padres. So losing Musgrove does hurt. So we'll see how it does. But I think the Padres are just fine, and because they were able to overcome, the Dodgers in the past where they had always kind of come up on the short end, I don't think it's a psychological disadvantage at all. So, going with
the team is they're officially for sale. The estate of Seidler is selling the team. I mean, because when he died, that was where the big money was coming from. So his estate, I think, still has control of the team, but it's officially for sale, right, Bruce?
I believe so. And, one thing, in Vegas, the Padre games are on TV here in Vegas locally. So this is the other market they seem to get into. So that's kind of cool. I get to see a lot of the Padres here, too.
All right, Brucey. Great stuff as always. Good luck, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, boys.
Don't forget our friends at Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Lee. We were just over there this weekend, and the weather in October, and man, it's patio weather. Patio dining is available over at Los Reyes. Got a great, all of your traditional Mexican favorites, and a lot of great food options at affordable prices. Not going to get sticker shock when they hit you with the ticket at the end of your meal. Happy hour 7 days a week, 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. Man, 20-ounce house margaritas are just $8 for happy hour. You got to check it out. Go see my buddy, Mr. Kyle Rogers and Scott over at Los Reyes. Miss Blair behind the bar. Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Lee, right across from Mike Anderson's.
Lock of the Week Friday presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments from Rufino's on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Charles Hannegriff's 5-pack of picks. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Make sure you use Louisiana rice, grown by Louisiana farmers since 1936. Available at most local grocery stores. Supreme Rice.
Keeping my head above water with the 4-1 week last week. Got up over 500 for the first time. So a couple of back-to-back 4-1 weeks. It got me right.
Hey, good, Charlie.
Keep it going here.
Let me see where you at right now.
13 and 12, I believe.
Yeah. 13 and 12.
13 and 12.
That's right.
All right. Surging a little bit here. We're going with Navy. Minus a 10. They've beaten Bucknell by 28, Temple by 27, Memphis by 12, UAB by 23 on the road. Air Force has lost to Wyoming by double digits, San Jose State by double digits, Baylor by 28. Air Force has given up 141 yards a game on the ground at 71st in the country. The only reason it's that low is because they've got a game in there against San Jose State, who just doesn't run the football at all. They're 130th in the nation in rushing. Navy 5th in rushing offense, 23rd in total offense, 9th in scoring offense. They can actually throw it a little bit. Blake Horvath would be the country's top-rated passer if he had enough attempts. They throw it about 11 times a game for 160 yards. That's like Tom Brady playing
16, 17 yards an attempt.
Yeah, I mean, this is like they never used to throw the football. This is like Tom Brady transferring in there or something. The military school rivalry, which I think is something Kenny White brought up on Wednesday, is the only thing that slightly concerns me here. But I'm going to lay the
Charlie
points.
Staubach wasn't that long ago at Navy, huh?
I don't think
seven.
I don't think Staubach threw for 100 a game.
No, he didn't. He was a run. That's right.
He was Roger the Dodger.
There you go.
So take Navy minus a 10 there. SMU at Louisville would take the 6.5 points here with the Mustangs. They've scored 108 points with wins against TCU and Florida State since they changed quarterbacks from Preston Stone to Kevin Jennings. They're averaging wins by 25 points a game. Even the one loss they had to BYU was by 3 with both quarterbacks playing in that game. The Cougars are 5-0. That doesn't look all that bad right now. And outside of the track meet they played with TCU, they played reasonable defense. Louisville has wins against Austin Peay and Jacksonville State, which do nothing for me. They beat Georgia Tech on a blocked field goal. They were outgained in that game by just under 100 yards. They lost to Notre Dame. Now, they outgained the Irish by 115, but they turned the ball over 3 times. They were down 2 scores for most of that game. I'm getting what I think is the better team here. They're gaining some momentum. Money line sprinkle, that's going to be a theme here. We'll take SMU plus the 6.5, and I would not be surprised if they won this game outright. Go out to Stanford. We'll take the Cardinal plus 8 against Virginia Tech. You know, Stanford followed up what was a competitive loss to TCU. They had a rental win, and then they got a really nice hard-fought win on the road at Syracuse. It looked like they got steamrolled by Clemson. The score was 40-14. I can't deny that. But 4 or 5 Clemson's touchdowns drive started in Stanford territory because the Cardinal turned it over 3 times. They were otherwise pretty even on the yardstick. They had 2 more first downs. They rushed for 256 yards in that game at 5.5 a carry. The yardstick was 405 to 361 at Clemson. So they got blasted, but they turned the ball over a lot. Virginia Tech, 103rd in the nation in rushing defense. They're allowing 178 a game against the Stanford team that can definitely run it. Hokies are coming off back-to-back heartbreakers. They lost at Rutgers. to Rutgers at home by 3. Field goal under 2 minutes to give them the win there, and then we know what happened last week against Miami. I'm taking the home dog here with a touchdown, and I think I got the better team here too. I'm going to take Stanford on another money line sprinkle here, but I'm definitely taking the 8 points. Last game of the night, going to take Texas Tech plus 6.5 at Arizona. God bless Mike Leach and his soul. Texas Tech can score again. They're sixth in the nation at just under 42 points a game. The loss was at Wazoo. They gave up 301 yards on the ground, and that would bother me if Arizona had a strong rushing attack, but they don't. They're 75th in the nation in rushing. I love Noah Fafita. I love Ted McMillan. He's a first-round pick, but Fafita's thrown 4 picks already. Yeah. And outside of the blowout of an absolutely awful New Mexico team, they're averaging about 17 points a game. So Fafita's not having a great start to this season. I get Texas Tech is bad on defense. They've given up the most points in the Big 12. But we're going to get in a shootout. Give me the team that's used to play in that type of game. Plus, I get the 6.5 points here. Another money line sprinkle. I think Texas Tech's got a chance to win out at Arizona. So it's 3 teams that are right, just either above or below a touchdown underdog. I think they can all win the game outright. In the last game, I'm laying big points here, but I think Florida State's cooked. Clemson minus the 15. Florida State got outgained by 126 yards and 6 first downs at home against Cal, and that was the game they won. Ugly season for the preseason number 10 team. You know what they've done. They last week they got outscored 28-7 by SMU in the second half. Looked like they were ready to move on to something else. DJU is probably out for this game. I don't know if Brock Glenn could be really any worse. If he was better, I mean, I can't get past the fact that they haven't made a change yet. Maybe that was some kind of NIL deal that they had promised DJU. But if they haven't made the move before this, Glenn couldn't possibly have been better. Clemson's been a good bully since they got throttled by Georgia in the opener. They're scoring 55 a game. They've covered 3 straight, more of that. I'll take Clemson and lay the big number 15 at Florida State. So give me the Navy and Florida and Clemson as big favorites, and then give me 3 what I think are live dogs: SMU, Stanford, and Texas Tech.
All right, Charlie. 13-12. First of all, Clemson, man, Klubnik is outstanding, man. He is on fire. He would have rough starter. But, he finished strong last year in the 6-game winning streak to end it. He was really good. And Georgia was, they couldn't get separation. They couldn't do a whole lot in that game. But since then, they put it on fire. And, yes, that is a sinking ship. I thought that Florida State had a chance to beat Michigan State after they, with transfer portal heavy with their starters that year when they went to the BCS Bowl against Pitt. It is just as bad, if not worse, this Florida State team this year. Texas Tech, Arizona played defense last week. And so, no Cam Rising. It finally caught up with Utah not having their starting quarterback there. Stanford's better than we thought this year.
They can
run the ball.
Went to Syracuse and won that game. SMU plus 6.5. Since they made their quarterback change, they've been a different team. And yes, how about Navy? Navy is 9th in the seventh in the country in scoring. Okay, and Air Force is 276th in scoring. So yes, Horvath 160 in the air a He's also rushed for 112 a game, 8 touchdowns, 9.5 yards a carry.
That's strong
also
as garlic.
9.5 a carry, 16 yards at attempt throwing the ball. Think he's improved a little bit. Yes, in a total at 36. Navy's averaging 10 more points than the total is for this game. So remember the big fullback for Air Force, Brad Roberts, and remember my favorite quarterback, Zeke Daniels? They gone. They gone, bro. So they gone, Dev.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. Hey, I got to be honest. The only time I bet on Florida State was the game, not last week, but the week before, and they actually wound up covering.
Cal.
Yeah, they actually went. It was 14-9, I believe.
We went to church to say thank you after that one.
Yeah, I was about to say, because it felt like that.
Yeah.
I bet on them again the week after, and it just reminded me, never again. You know what I'm saying? DJU, you want to talk about somebody I could talk about for a long time? This guy is bad.
Is he on your list?
Oh, this guy is bad. You can know nothing about football. You sit down, you watch this guy play quarterback. It's hard, man. It's rough. It's brutal. So
hey, but he was a 5-star.
Hey,
who's putting those stars out, huh?
Yeah. He's going to a different school for every star he was. So
tell me, without the NIL deal, he wouldn't have been replaced 3 weeks ago.
It has to be.
It's got to be.
What is
right?
his NIL?
Whatever it is. They got him from Oregon State. They gave him something. I don't know how much it is. But don't you think they promised him?
You think they
playing
gave him
time?
a lot to get him out?
Oregon State, I wasn't.
I Oregon State rushed for like 9-10 yards a carry. He'd sit back there. It was like Cam Ward in the first.
It's not so much the money as I think they promised him playing time. And otherwise, why wouldn't he have made the move yet?
Right.
No, I get it. The start, but hell with it. Once you don't perform, Charlie, sorry.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Glenn's got to be that much worse for them not to have made the move by now.
It has to, because the way I'm looking at it is I would be more willing to bet them to cover with the other guy coming in, but he must be terrible.
He wasn't good last year, okay? But he did play a better second half getting the Florida comeback. The Louisville game, he was not good in that one. But, I mean, we're talking about what was Horvath last year? He was terrible. Look at his numbers last year. You can get better with experience at quarterback. I mean, I don't know if he's developed at all. But I can tell you what, I'm going to see.
Yeah.
Because I've seen enough the DJU.
If they had seen him in practice look like he had improved, I think they would have made the move by now. I really do.
I mean, like, watching him and Anthony Richardson throw the ball, like, did they try to aim it in one? I mean, what is going on with that?
I'll be fading that group until they prove me different.
Yeah. Fafita's shocking too, man.
Don't forget our friends at Lofton Staffing Services bringing you Otter Locks each and every week at 5:50 Monday through Thursday over as part of After Further Review. But at Lofton Staffing Services, we match hard workers with the most sought-after employers. To Lofton, you're more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we'll match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application. You can schedule an interview. You can even browse jobs at the comfort of your own couch.
Come on.
While watching Red Zone.
Come on.
At Lofton.jobs.
Sounds like me.
Yes, indeed. Or maybe you call her. Get him a job. Lofton also offers an unlimited $100 referral bonus. Lofton Staffing Services, we've been putting people to work since 1979. 924-0200 and Lofton.jobs.
Lock of the Week Friday presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
36. Available at most local grocery stores. Supreme Rice.
Man, you've been trying to get the rice at home. You can't figure out why it's doesn't come out like that that restaurant rice. Parboil rice. That's your answer. The parboil rice from Supreme Rice, available in all grocery stores. Been a few months that we've had them on the shelves, and it is a game changer. Check it out. Supreme Rice's parboil rice, available in most grocery stores in the Baton Rouge area.
I'm gonna let you cook for me on Monday.
That's fine. That's fine. A 3-2 week. Another one for me. So 13-12. Just peeking over 500 as well. Let's get right to it. South Carolina. Do I need to talk about this game anymore? I love this spot. Healthy, coming off a bye, banged up. Kentucky leaned on Ole Miss. I mean, were they in a game? Were they a little bit spent, a little bit banged up? 47 times they ran it at Ole Miss. Jackson Dart. A little better than average after you get off to that first drive of the game where it's scripted for him. This is a cream puff. The cream puff part of the schedule is done. This is a hell of everything was so laid out for Ole Miss this year. The schedule, you don't play Bama, you play here. Just everything is laid out. They got their work cut out for them now to make it to the college football playoff. It's going to be tough to win back-to-back at South Carolina, at LSU, with both teams coming off of a bye and them coming off of a game against physical Kentucky. Carolina plus the 9. Tennessee, Florida ain't what it used to be. Not even close to what it used to be. But is there still a little something in that rivalry the next week? And then who do they play after that next week? Tennessee. They play Florida and Alabama the next 2 weeks. And then they go to Fayetteville in a sleepy little game. Public all over Tennessee. It's up to 14 right now at our friends over at the Queen Casino, the DraftKings Sportsbook here in town. Give me the Hogs plus the 4. They've been competitive. Why wouldn't they be competitive at home? Tricky spot, maybe peeking ahead a little bit for these Tennessee Volunteers. I love Tennessee. Tennessee could win it all this year. But this spot, I'm a situational handicapper in college football. Give me the Hogs at home plus 14. USC. Oh, they're improved on defense. Okay, so they a scale of 1 to 10, they went from a 1 to a 3. I mean, Michigan cannot throw the ball. They threw for 30 yards, and they're just going to hand it off. And they still can't tackle to finish it. Now they go play Minnesota. Did Minnesota find something late in the game at Michigan? Down 24-3. They rip off 3 touchdowns in the second half. Get the onside kick. Now the onside kick's not sustainable. Phantom call kills them there, but Now they host USC. They went toe-to-toe. Keep in mind that Michigan line was kind of suspect last week against Minnesota after they beat USC. Here comes Minnesota struggling. Minnesota is built to play close games. They are going to lean on USC in this one. Should be I can see this one being a live dog to win outright. I don't think they will, but they certainly should keep this thing single digits. Take the 9 in the Gophers at home. Another home dog. We get off of the home dogs 3 in a row there to start you off, and then we get to when you want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons of college football. I introduce to you the Duke Blue Devils. Duke is down 3-10. They're 5-0. They're 5-0. Okay. They were down in the fourth quarter to 3 different teams: North Carolina, UConn, and also who was the other one that we're down that they came back to win? I'm drawing a
North Carolina, Northwestern, UConn.
Northwestern, the Friday night game up on the lake. Yes, the beautiful, picturesque in overtime. What an ugly game. How are they? How they fine? And not only that, they were down 20-0. They stormed back. They rushed the field. The field rush fade is in Atlanta. Now they got to get back up and beat them. So emotional game, comeback game. They've been fortunate. They've been lucky, flat out lucky. It's going to stop. Give me Georgia Tech, who's also coming off of a bye after they left that one on the field against Louisville. Talk about a misleading score, not covering the spread in Louisville, and that one
8.5.
Not plus 9.5. I mean, minus 9.5. Minus 9.5. Minus 9.5 right now over at the Queen. And then, yes, we talk about emotion. I mean, did UNLV play with emotion last week? You damn right they did. Have they ever played with that much emotion? I love this UNLV team. I think it's an upgrade at quarterback. For 1 week, it certainly was. And, they've never been more excited. They've got the locker room is galvanized, after Hoxaluka hit the road. But now they follow it up against Syracuse. McCord, he's been really good this year. He was not good against Stanford. He threw for some yardage, but he also had some mistakes as well. We're going to take Syracuse plus a 6. Emotional letdown here for the UNLV running Rebels. Syracuse plus 6, Georgia Tech minus 9.5, Minnesota plus 9, Arkansas plus 14, and South Carolina plus 9. Again, Supreme Rice. Can't figure out how you can't get your rice to like the restaurants get it. I got the answer for you. It's the parboil rice from Supreme Rice. It's available in all grocery stores right now. It's big, it's big, it's firm. It's a higher grade of rice. It is really, really good stuff. Check it out in grocery stores right now.
What do you think of the Arkansas quarterback, Taylon Green?
Hit and miss, wild card, can make plays, but he also can make mistakes, So,
that's how I feel about him, too.
I mean, kind of a wild card. I mean, hit and miss, but athletic and can, just not dependable, not what Petrino's used to having. But, I mean, they make we don't know.
He's one of those classic. I don't want him necessarily playing for me, but I don't really want to play against him either in case he gets hot.
But he's an Arkansas kind of quarterback. They're dangerous. They can do it, but they can't really compete for the big crown, So he kind of fits what they are, but they've been competitive.
When you think of Arkansas,
look at the losses.
Yeah,
they outgained Oklahoma State on the road by over 250 yards.
Yeah.
That's one loss. And the other loss was 50-50 game.
I like Arkansas here, too. Green is one of the more hit and miss. I'm trying to find a better term.
He's erratic, hit and miss. I mean, he's
erratic.
He's dangerous.
That's a good word. Dangerous. Yeah, those are all good words. What game do you think of when you think of Tennessee, Arkansas historically?
Oh, the Clint Stoerner game in Knoxville.
Yeah, they had him. They had him.
Yeah. Clint Stoerner was as good of a game that Arkansas has played, and they had him. But Charlie, does Tennessee, Florida mean anything anymore?
Not this year. I mean,
so these players they're not peeking ahead a little bit to Florida and Alabama in the next few weeks.
Okay. When's the last time to Alabama for sure? I don't know that Florida just doesn't bring. It's 3 straight losing seasons. That's
Florida beat them last year, huh?
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Okay, that was one of the games. Yeah,
they beat them last year.
Okay, well then maybe I had forgotten that actually.
When they beat them 8 out the last 10 years or so?
And that would mean something to these kids.
I mean,
three straight losing seasons. Florida just doesn't bring the gravitas that they used to. But I had forgotten that they had lost that game last year. So maybe so. Yeah, I think think you may be onto something. Maybe onto something there. I like that.
I mean, even if it's not, I think it's a tough spot, for them to go in. Here we go, Charlie. Boom. Here we go. Let's see, Charlie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. They've beaten them the last 17 out of 19 years. That doesn't mean anything? That doesn't get your attention?
It gets
17 out of 19?
You asked me if Florida was a big deal anymore.
No,
I said
for
no.
Tennessee.
But for Tennessee,
who's lost to them 17 out of 19 years.
I had forgotten that they lost to them last year. So, yeah. Maybe so. I know Florida's not very good.
Florida's good for something, huh?
I know they can't play.
Beat them 29-16 last year. And to Tennessee, the one game that they won 2 years ago, only won 38-33. That was a Richardson game where he all of a sudden he's thrown.
Oh, he had the monster game. Yeah,
best game he's ever played. Then they lost the previous 5 years. Back in 2016, Tennessee won 38-28, and then 11 years in a row. Florida, 17 of 19.
You gotta hate it when your rival is bad and they still beat you.
Yeah,
I mean because they've been bad for 3 years.
Beat them by 2 touchdowns last year.
Why can't I remember that game? I don't remember anything about
Graham
that.
Mertz was good.
Okay.
It was good last year. It was good. I mean, they were better than they are this year, even though the schedule is brutal. But they were in some games. The Missouri game was a shootout. He had no help. He kept them in games last year.
I'm riding with you. I think with just about all of these picks, the Georgia Tech one in particular. That line just screams at you to take them, right? You got
Duke.
Yeah, no, to take Georgia Tech because Duke's 5-0 and catching. They're trying to get
they're
you.
Like
to take
5-0 against the spread too.
Yeah,
huh?
and they're trying to get
Are
you
they?
to take. Don't you think that they're trying to get you to take Duke? At that, I mean, they're 5-0,
3-2 against the spread.
Okay, but they're 5-0, and you look at you. Wow, 5-0, catching 9.5 points. I'm all over that.
Right.
So you go the.
Are they
the
ranked
other
this
way.
week?
I think they are. I think Duke is. No, they're actually not.
No,
they're not.
The ranked versus unranked is it? There's a couple of those this week.
Yeah, they would be. Gosh, you gotta even go down a little.
Washington is Michigan ranked? Is that are they ranked? Don't tell me they're ranked, huh? I mean,
Michigan's ranked 10th.
UNLV is ranked this week. Okay. Well, A&M's 25. They're barely in. They're ranked. They're favored over Missouri.
Ranked against favorite. You said is Michigan ranked?
Michigan,
yes,
Washington. Michigan is number 10 in the country.
Yeah.
They're number 10 in the country. Like I'm, building, rockets to go to the moon. Spaceships. I mean, come on, man. Michigan number 10. In what freaking world?
Max's Picks when we come back here live at lunch. Lock of the Week Friday presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments from Rufino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, Max was 2-3 last week. Let's roll.
11-14 for the season. It's been ugly, but we're going to start off.
You're taking it hard too.
Oh yes, definitely. I was crying.
Quit
yesterday.
Crying, boy. Let's go.
The Queen. We're going to start off with Wake Forest +4 at NC State. Wake Forest has not covered a spread in 8 games. NC State hasn't covered a spread in 6 games. So these teams are both winless against this number this season. But Hank Bachmeier, a better quarterback than what NC State's trotting out. C.J. Bailey has replaced Grayson McCall, who's got the injury. He's out for a while. Might be out for the season, actually. So I think Wake Forest catching 4 points against a really bad NC State team. That, by the way, last week NC State won over Northern Illinois. They won the turnover battle by 4 in that game, so they should have lost that game. There have been they beat La Tech by 10. NC State's just a complete fade team at this point, so I'll take the 4 points, the dog with Dave Clawson's Demon Deacons. Purdue, Wisconsin, under 45.5. This one is a bit of a wind play. A lot of wind in the plains. We're looking at about 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds, gusts of up to 35 for game time in this one at Camp Randall. Wisconsin doesn't really have a great offense to begin with, and we've seen in their 2 wins this season against South Dakota and Western Michigan, they went under this total in both those games. This is a Purdue team that can't really put points on the board, but Hudson Card passes a little bit. The passing game is going to be affected by this game. So I just expect a lot of running, a lot of clock moving, under 45.5 in a very windy game there at Camp Randall. Also another win game, Rutgers, Nebraska. This one's under 40. Nebraska passes the ball a lot, so this is going to affect their passing game a lot. And Rutgers is an under team traditionally. We saw it last week against Washington, a low-scoring game. Virginia Tech barely went over the number, but Rutgers is going to run the ball a lot. Caliac Manis, their quarterback, is not good at all, so they have no problem running the ball. But Raiola being affected by the wind is going to be a factor. So I think this is a very, very low-scoring Big Ten game between Rutgers and Nebraska. We'll take under 40. Arizona State minus 2.5 against Kansas. Arizona State coming off a bye week. For what it's worth, Dillingham last year off a bye week. They were 1-5 going to Washington. This team couldn't. They were running up the score against everybody, and all of a sudden, out of a bye week, Arizona State was prepared. Washington out of nowhere only wins the game 15-7 as a 28-point favorite. So they're good off of bye weeks from what we've seen so far. Meanwhile, Kansas, their offense has just been completely evaporated thanks to the loss of Andy Kotelnicki, the OC, going on to Penn State. Jalen Daniels has one of the worst QBRs right now in the country, which is hard to believe considering what he's shown. But last week, 44% completion percentage. He's already got, I think, 8 interceptions on the season. So it has been a rough go of it for Jalen Daniels in this offense. I'll take Arizona State. To me, the better team, but they're at home off a bye week, only laying 2.5. And finally, my lock of the week, Hawaii +2 at San Diego State. This is a team I've been backing. We've got their win total over, Jimmy, in Hawaii. But they haven't really played anyone, so it's hard to really tell what to think of them at this point. They beat 2 really bad teams. They lost to 2 good teams. Sam Houston State is 5-1. That was their worst loss of the season. You might think of them as a bad team, but Sam Houston's 5-1 now, so that's not as bad of a loss. San Diego State has no passing game whatsoever either. Danny O'Neal is a freshman there. This is a transition year for San Diego State, so they shouldn't be laying points here. I'll take Hawaii +2.
All right, Beau Rivage this week for the Sunday show, Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon. And then the Monday show, same place, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Brian Kelly Press Luncheon as part of that broadcast, and we start at 10 a.m. So previewing Ole Miss. So got a week off, Charlie. So you come with me Saturday. We'll have a good time at the Beau.
Going to enjoy that. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer.
Yo,
4-5 ESPN Baton Rouge.